Hey guys, this is Infinity No What Ifs. I hope you are doing well. Please support to subscribe this channel to watching new interesting stories and to get all videos in real time. Please subscribe. So in this video, we will see second part, what if Naruto became a SSS class ghoul after his mother's death. Here is short summary. He was once just like any other kid before the day his father killed his own mother since she was a ghoul. He abandoned his own home in fear the same thing would happen to him. Years later he is now considered an SSS class ghoul. But before we start, if you want more stuff like this, then be sure to subscribe and like this video. And if possible, share this video with your friends. Now let's start the story. Inside Aogiri base. What is it? Naruto asked as he's standing in a dark room and in front of Tatara, who's standing in front of him. No one else is inside the room except the two, as the others were in different rooms. If you're not gonna say anything, then I'm leaving, Naruto says as he turns away from Tatara, who decides to speak. It's been such a long time since we've last met, Tatara said, stopping Naruto, who was at the door about to leave. Naruto just turns to Tatara as he continues. I'm not your enemy here. I just wanted to tell you something. You're not interested at all, it seems, except wanting to see Kaneki. I'll say it this way, it's about your father Kureo Mado, Tatara said, gaining his full attention. That's right, you think you know all about your father, but in fact you know nothing. Maybe showing you my face will jog a memory from your past, Tatara says as he grabs his mouth mask as he takes it off, causing his eyes to immediately widen. And the only one who knows the truth about your father, after all, I'm your grandfather, Tatara said as Naruto was speechless as he starts thinking back to the members of Aogiri. Ah, so you remember. Yes, Noro is your uncle. But I'm impressed at how far you've gotten, Tatara says as he placed the face mask back on. Your father never knew that I knew so much about him, Tatara said to Naruto, who is still having a lot of trouble absorbing the information at hearing his last two relatives are a part of Aogiri tree. That blade he gave you has multiple abilities, don't you see what he's been trying to do in the beginning? Everything he's done until his death was to protect you, Tatara said as Naruto's eyes widen all the way. Congratulations. You've beaten me. You've made me proud, as well as Kushina. That quink is yours now. I regret it. I'm sorry for pushing you away all those years ago, how I caused you and your friends great pain. I needed you to get stronger through. I now see it. Maybe you could have changed me, Arashi, the ghoul investigators. If I had told you the truth from the very beginning. If I had told you the truth as equals. I failed as a father and I have no right to keep saying sorry and to be forgiven, but now I can finally admit one thing that I've always thought: it's alright if you never forgive me for all I've done. But, no matter what you do or become, nothing will change the fact that you will always be my beloved son. Sorry Naruto, but this is it. What? Naruto said, completely wide-eyed. He even talked to your mother before she died, promising he would make you stronger to survive this hellish world. Before she was killed, I was there that day watching my daughter talk to Kureo before he killed her. Tatara was cut off by Naruto, who grabs his head. Just shut the hell up. I don't care, he could have stopped this. Because of what he did I felt so much pain. He killed Mom. Even if it was true, I can never forgive him, Naruto yelled at him. I know everything about Kureo. Even he himself did not know I knew so much, Tatara said, which Naruto grits his teeth. Do you know why? Why you were even born? Tatara said, causing his eyes to narrow. Listen to what I'm about to tell you, since it's all true. Even your father never wanted us to meet cause I knew it. A secret even the CCG tried to cover up. Tsuneyoshi Washu, the chairman of CCG, Yoshitoki Washu, Matsuri Washu, Zane, Arima, Akashi, Ayato, Noro, Ito, and the One-Eyed King knew of this secret, Tatara told him as Naruto is listening. I was the one who knew all of this before Aogiri Tree knew, because I told them. As I said earlier, Kureo never realized just how much I knew about him. Apparently he wanted to make sure that your anger can finally be at peace, but he never thought I would talk to you after his death, Tatara told Naruto, who was still wide-eyed. What are you trying to tell me? What secret? Naruto yelled at him as Tatara just stares at him. Remember, Think back and remember Kureo, Totara said as Naruto stared at his hands. Your kind and gentle father, Totara said as Naruto puts his hand on his mouth remembering how he devoured him. Flashback. Naruto was being carried piggyback as they stop in front of the CCG building. That's where you work, right? Naruto asked as Kureo nods. It's the headquarters for the Ghoul investigators. I work there and someday you will too, Kureo told him, which Naruto smiles. Flashback end. No, my dad. Naruto stopped as he falls to his knees. I wonder if your father even told you he talked to your mother or not before she died and told you he did all this to protect you. Now let me tell you now the truth. I don't have any evidence to show you since CCG keep a right leash on information. So you must decide if I'm telling the truth or not. But only after you listen to the entire secret, Totara said, which Naruto takes a deep breath and looks at him. Tell me, Naruto said as Totara smiles under his mouth mask. It all started a year before you were born. Back then the ghouls and investigators were at each other's throats. During this time the CCG was more dangerous since they used more force in their investigations. I was a part of a Chinese mafia during that time and allowed my daughter to go to Japan to enter Kami University. But because of that I allowed my daughter Kushina to meet that man. Your father Kureo. As time went on, those two became closer, and once I found out about those two I immediately left the organization and joined Aogiri Tree to keep a close eye on my daughter. Time passed and CCG noticed that Kushina was a ghoul since they saw she was nervous one time inside the CCG. But then it happened. Yoshitoki thought of an idea that could stop the One-Eyed King. A weapon to counter the One-Eyed King, another One-Eyed Ghoul. And that's when Kureo's suffering began, Totara said as Naruto's eyes are completely wide as his eyes were unfocused as the moving. Another One-Eyed Ghoul. You're saying I am a weapon? Naruto yelled at him as Totara doesn't react to the outburst. You were told nothing. It's all true. Your father was ordered to seduce and impregnate Kushina Uzumaki, my daughter. And Kureo did exactly as he was ordered, betraying his closest friend, Totara told him as he grits his teeth. Why? But why would he do that? Why did he kill Mom? Naruto yelled at him. You may never understand why, but he loved your mother, which even the CCG had no idea. He was happy and sad at the order since they wanted to use you. After the first child who didn't have the Kagun or Kakugan, they had another child. You. After you were born they wanted to see what you could become and kept a close eye on you, but in order for you to get stronger, vengeance must be in your heart. On that day, he was ordered to kill Kushina in front of you and then your sister. Kureo closed his own heart, but he failed. He just couldn't bring himself to killing his own daughter and hurting his beloved son even more. He gave you a reason to get stronger, but on that day Zane covered your tracks so they couldn't track you no longer, which your anger continued to grow and change until you are now. Everything he's done was to help you get stronger. Haven't you realized that he could have tracked you down any time he wanted? He made sure you were strong enough, so he hurt the one you loved and horrified the little girl in order to see what you could do. Don't you realize? To him, your life was more precious than even the world. He fought you and died in front of you in order to silence the past and to help you let go of your anger. He took the burden of what he did. Even his own comrades thought he was a monster for what he's done. Totara said. Naruto said nothing except his eyes were completely wide. Accepted disgrace in place of honor, and hate in the place of love. And Kureo still died with a smile on his face, Totara said, which Naruto said nothing as his hair shadowed his eyes. Later that night, sunrise. Naruto was sitting in the side of the building's roof and behind him was Totara and Noro. What will you do? Totara asked him as Naruto just watches the sun rise as tears are falling from his eyes. The weapon they wanted has become much more. This world, these people, it can't move on unless those who threaten the peace must be eliminated, meaning the ones who knew about my father must die, Naruto said as his right eye changes to the Kakugan. The CCG chairman must die, Naruto said as the tears stopped falling. 10 days later at night. Done. was the first thing Naruto said as he's wearing the outfit he kept in the briefcase along with holding the black katana handle. Ito, sneaking back into Anteku to retrieve your new outfit as well as your quink was a waste of time, Ayato said to Naruto, who said nothing until he stood up and starts walking towards the door, passing Ayato, which both stop hearing far away gunfire. "Tch, they're here already," Ayato said with annoyance and looks at Naruto, who opens the door. "Where are you going?" Ayato asked Naruto, who moves his head to the side looking back at him. "I'm getting my brother," was all Naruto said as he leaves the room and begins walking down the hallway while ghouls in red cloaks wearing masks run past him while one stops. "Sir, the enemy is attacking," he said, which Naruto just gives a nod as he continues walking, but he stops hearing a loud shatter as he looks to see Juzu smiling as he has blood on him and turns to Naruto smiling. "Ooh, a new one," Juzu says, smiling as Naruto continues walking as his angel wings appear, causing Juzu's eyes to widen, but smiles. "Angel, also you have a new outfit," Juzu said, which he just stands straight as Juzu just shakes his head, confusing him as Juzu starts running straight for Naruto but slows down as he's next to Naruto on his left. "I don't want to fight you, I would be killed then," Juzu said to Naruto as his Kakugan is activated as he looks at Juzu and noticed he's no longer smiling but has a serious look on his face. "If you have indeed a part of Aogiri tree, then do me a favor. Two girls that are twins as well as around my age named Korona and Nashiro. Do me a favor and see if they're alive," was the last thing Juzu said as he continues running, which Naruto's wings recede as he looks back. That look and the tone in his voice. He's in love with them, Naruto thought to himself as he continues walking towards Kaneki's location. 5 minutes later, Naruto enters the room to find us destroyed with Yamori inside a dust cloud after crashing into the wall, and a white-haired Kaneki who simply looks at Naruto as they stare at each other. "Naruto," Kaneki said as Naruto looked down. "Kaneki, I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you," Naruto was stopped by yelling. "Kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll devour you, I'll make a sloppy mess out of you, I'll kill you, I'll tear you apart, limb from limb," Yamori screamed as the two look at him annoyed. Yamori takes off towards them. "Kaneki," Yamori yelled as he launches his right arm forward, which the two jump back as their eyes narrowed. "Now I'm annoyed," Naruto and Kaneki said at the same time as their Kaguns activate, which Yamori's eyes widen as he looks at the two. "Now, it's our turn," Kaneki said as he smiles while his Kakugan is activated, which he cracks his finger as his tentacle claws point straight at him along with Naruto's wings. "I'll just kill both of you," Yamori yelled, but his blind anger stopped him from realizing the two were already in front and behind him with their Kagun at his neck, which his eyes widen as the two send Yamori's head flying just like Killer Bee in Raikage's double lariat. His anger blinded him. "So pathetic," Kaneki said as he looks at Naruto, who takes off his mask, the sadness on his face, which Kaneki begins walking passing Naruto. "I don't blame you, what you did finally opened my eyes, so let's just go." "Brother," Kaneki said, which Naruto looks down sadly and places the helmet on as he follows Kaneki towards the outside door, which they exit slowly as Kaneki takes out his mask and places it on his face while Naruto looks around. 5 minutes later, where Tuka is. Ayato is currently walking away from a badly beaten Tuka, who decides to speak. "Dad," Tuka said, causing Ayato to stop walking as he begins speaking. "Even in this situation, you call for Pop. He's locked up." Tuka, Ayato was about to finish, but when he turned to received a fist straight to the face, sending him flying back as Kaneki picks Tuka up bridal style and Naruto runs to her as he places a hand on her cheek. "And Naruto, Kaneki," Tuka said weakly while Naruto turns to Ayato. "He's mine," Naruto told Kaneki, which Ayato's eyes narrow. "Ayato, what you've done has pissed me off," Naruto said, which Ayato grits his teeth. "Shut the hell up," Ayato yelled as he unleashes a barrage of crystals at Naruto, whose was moving at incredible speeds, even faster than before, causing Ayato's eyes to widen as a fist is embedded into his stomach, causing him to vomit out blood as Naruto's wings send him down through the Vermont and into the flood hard, which he looks up with shock at Naruto's wings extended all the way. "I've learned a few things over the week, including how many bones in the human body I can break without killing someone. Let's tear that theory by half killing you, Naruto said to Ayato, killing him but starts to get a sense of fear as the left eye hole is nothing but black while the right shows his Kakugan. Unlike you and the rest who use the same Kagun, I've trained so I can last far longer than any of you. Also, this place you're in is quite narrow, right? Naruto asked, causing his eyes to widen as he jumps out of the way, dodging a barrage of white crystals which Naruto jumps down as Ayato looks up on receive a hand on his face as his head was smashed against the ground. You aren't yet used to my attack style, Naruto said as he throws Ayato to the side of the walk, which he grits his teeth. Bastard, you don't have any persuasive power. Ayato yelled as he unleashed a barrage, but his eyes widen as a blood's red katana blade is through his leg, which Naruto holding the handle, which he kicks Ayato off his blade as the blade is absorbed into the handle and he puts it away. At that time Ayato grits his teeth. Shut the hell up, Ayato yelled as he unleashes barrage of crystals at Naruto, who begins dodging, but his widen seeing Ayato already where he dodged as he dies a spin kick which Naruto blocked, and Ayato then knees him in his helmet, which wasn't even damaged by the hit as he stumbled back while Ayato unleashes more crystals at Naruto, who blocks using his wings. As that's happening, Naruto's eyes narrowed. I'm quite shocked you're this strong, so tell me why you're a part of Aogiri tree, Naruto asked as his wings recede along with Ayato's as he's staring at him. Now I see what you've inherited from your father. It wasn't the strengths you inherited, but in fact, you inherited the kindness and protectiveness of your sister. You've never changed, Naruto said, which Ayato's eyes widen all the way. Flashback years ago. So tired, a kid, Naruto said as he's laying against a dumpster. As he was laying against it, he heard footsteps and soon blacks out, only hearing footsteps. 1 hour later, Naruto eyes open slowly as he's laying in a bed, causing him to sit up slowly as he touched his head. Where am I? Naruto yelled after finding a kid Ayato sitting on a chair near his bed, glaring at Naruto and scaring him. I don't like you, Ayato said, confusing Naruto, who looks to see a kid Tuka sleeping on a chair on Naruto's right while her upper body is laying on the bed while she has her arms wrapped around Naruto's right arm, which he blinks in surprise seeing this, which he looks back at Ayato seeing his glare has increased, causing Naruto to sweat drop. What did I do? Naruto said, not understanding this, but the glare increases. Ayato, stop scaring him, someone said as the two turned to seeing an older man smiling down at them. Flashback end. Ayato is currently looking down at hearing his words. You protected her, didn't you? You could have killed her, but you didn't, so I won't kill you. But even so, for all you've done, I won't hold back. Naruto spoke as his wings turn black as multiple more wings appear with eyes appearing on them along with a mask appearing on Naruto helmet. Now, was all Naruto said as he unleashes a Wade spread attack, causing Ayato's eyes to widen as he was unable to dodge and in the end was sent into the wall while the wings turns into hands as they grabs Ayato as they slam him into the walk's ceiling and floor until they throw him down in front of Naruto. Now let the torture begin. First off, there is 206 bones in a person's body. If all broken, then you will surely die. So I'll just break 103 of your bones, starting with the arm, Naruto said as he proceeds to snap all his fingers, gaining a scream of pain as he continues. Now there's a bone called the humerus in the upper arm. The forearm is composed of 2 bones. Now never mind that, I'll tell you something very important as I continue to break your bones, as he said that he breaks more bones, causing Ayato to scream. Do not hesitate to attack your enemy, do not waver to kill the enemy. You must leave behind your kindness and must become like the devil himself in order to survive this world. To survive cruelty is become cruel yourself. That is a new lesson I have learned, and look at that. 103. As Naruto finished, Ayato was laying in the ground, unable up even move as blood is coming from his mouth. You can have him now, uncle, Naruto says as he turns seeing Noro. No. R.O. Ayato said weakly as Noro walks and passes Naruto as he picks Ayato up and places him over his shoulder. At that time he heard a beeping as Noro took out an alarm clock and presses the button, which his eyes widen as the entire building begins shaking, which his eyes narrow as he flies through the ceiling and lands on the roof as Kaneki looks at Naruto. We're leaving, Kaneki said as Naruto gives a nod, which he picks Tuka up bridal style as he begins running with the two following him. 4 minutes later, The three are currently watching the building collapse, which Naruto is looking at Tuka sadly. This is messed up, Nishiki said, not liking this one bit, and Kaneki decides to speak. Mr. Nishio, take Tuka, Kaneki said as he begins walking away along with Naruto. Oh okay. You too, what about you? Nishiki asked, but they were already gone. 3 minutes later, Naruto and Kaneki are currently walking down a pathway unknown to the two. Amon was watching them. Did you two fight, too? He asked himself as the two continued walking, passing dead bodies of ghouls and humans as they soon arrive in a wide area surrounded by dust. Hey. The one laughed was Ito in front of them, which Naruto deactivated his Kakuja state and Kagun. Ito soon was no longer there. She appears behind them chucking, which Naruto looks back to see her as 8 disappeared again, and the two look to see her sitting on rubble. I'll be waiting for you, Ito said as the dust consumes her as she's no longer there, causing the two to look down as they continue walking again while it begins snowing while the dust disappears. Where Tuka is? It's all right. Find the manager, Tuka told Hinami, who nods as she begins running to find the manager while Tuka was lying against a tree watching her as she smiles, but her eyes widen as she heard footsteps and looks to see Kaneki as well as Naruto, who's not even looking at her, which she looks down then looks up smiling. Hey, when you two get back, Kaneki, do something about your hair. If you show up in the shop looking like that, you can't help but stick out, after all, Tuka said to them. Tuka, we're not going back to Anteku, Kaneki said, which all Tuka was able to do was say, huh? What do you mean? We're going over to Aogiri, Kaneki said, causing her eyes to widen all the way in complete and utter shock. Tokyo Ghoul Lost Darkness falls on another day. Naruto was the first who began walking as Kaneki follows, which Tuka stop up a little wobbly while under Naruto's helmet. He grits his teeth as Tuka reached out for Naruto, which he just keeps walking as his hands are fists while shaking as Tuka falls to her knees. I'm sorry, was all Tuka heard as they continue walking. 30 minutes later, Kaneki is currently wearing his new outfit Naruto made him as the two are walking through the rubble and glass as they stare at the countless dead bodies. The two look up to find Ito waving at them, Totaro watching them, and Noro carrying a beaten Ayato. Ito runs to Naruto's right side as both her arms wrapped around his right arm as she lays her head against his arm as they begin walking while the ghouls were making way for them to leave as Kaneki follows Naruto. Sigh was the only sound Naruto made as he's next to Kaneki in a room folkier with dead ghoul investigators. Naruto glances to the left seeing a survivor but ignores him as the door behind them was opened, gaining their attention. Get a move on, already. Let's go, Ayato told them as he leaves, which Naruto puts his quink away as the two leave. CCG First Ward. All done, Juzu said with a smile as he examines the stitches on his left hand. Would you stop doing that? Sito asked him, but all he got was the middle finger, which was the only finger that had stitches, causing his eye to twitch. If you keep talking I'll just see your mouth shut, so shut it, Sito, Juzu said, which Sito stood up. Hey, you, don't get so full of your, just because you were promoted, Juzu. I don't accept that you're an investigator 2nd grade, like me, Sito yelled, but before Juzu could say anything the door opens up showing Yukinori entering. Sigh, I see you're at it again, like always, you too, Yukinori said as he closed the door behind him, which Juzu just zoned out. Flashback years ago in the academy. Ghouls have taken the lives of many people, and they have upset the fate of me, and all of you. They will continue to take many others from us. I'd like you to drill that into your minds, as you press forward in your training each day. And with that, this lecture is concluded. When Amon finished, everyone began to clap for him except Juzu, who just strayed out the window. It's useless. We're just as much at fault as they are, Ray thought to himself as his eyes narrowed. Back then his name was Ray, not Juzu. Some time later, Ray was currently sitting in the dark near the road as he heard footsteps as he doesn't even turn to see Nashiro and Corona. Ray, Corona said, which Ray doesn't even turn to them. Oh, Nashiro and Corona. Good evening, Ray said to them as his head looks up at the sky. You didn't come to Shizuku's funeral, huh? Nashiro told him as Corona puts her 2 cents in. Aren't you sad? Corona said to him as Ray replies to her question. What for? After all, I expected her to die already, Rei said, causing their eyes to narrow. Don't say it like that. It feels wrong, Corona said to him. How is it any different from eating and playing with her? Everyone will eventually die, Rei told them, which Corona decides to talk. Rei, if that's supposed to be a joke, then laugh, Nashiro said with anger, which Rei stops for a few seconds as both his hands become fists as they're shaking. Laugh, laugh, Rei yelled, causing their eyes to widen as he turns to them with anger as he's currently crying, which he stands up as he walks towards them and grabs the two by their shirts, which their eyes widen. Don't you ever judge me. I've lived through hell my entire life. You two could never understand what it feels like to lose the few friends I have. This damn world is the problem. If we continue to fight, we'll just end up killing each other, Rei yelled at them as he lets go, which they hit the ground as he begins walking back to the academy. If you two were to die, there would be nothing left for me in this accursed world, Rei said as he just walks back with his head down. Flashback end. Juzu sighs sadly as he just looks down as his hands become fists as he grits his teeth, which Yukinori saw this and was confused at seeing this. Juzu, is something wrong? Yukinori asked, but Juzu looks away. It's nothing. I've just been thinking about the past lately, Juzu said as he stood up and walks past Yukinori as he places a hand on the door, surprising him. I'll be ready for the meeting. I need to think over something, Juzu said as he leaves the room immediately. What's his problem? Sito asked Yukinori, who just stares at the door. Where Juzu is? Juzu is walking down the hall as he's looking down with his hands in his pockets and accidentally bumps into Associate Special Class Investigator Makoto, causing his eyes to narrow. Hey you, Stitch boy, Makoto said, stopping Juzu, who just glances back with narrowed eyes. What was that? Juzu asked as Makoto smiles as he walks towards Juzu as he leans his head towards his as he sticks his tongue out at Juzu, causing his eyes to narrow. I know all about you crush on those two girls, dumbass, Makoto said, causing Juzu's eyes to widen all the way. You don't remember me? Well, you shouldn't, since because of you my father, who was an interrogator, got fired and lost everything in the divorce because of you. You told Yukinori about my father killing animals around the academy. Now I'm gonna screw you over and kill the knee you care for the most. Corona and Nashiro, which I hope you'll suffer. After he said that, Juzu showed a very pissed off look on his face as he grabs Makoto's shirt. Just try that and I'll cut your arm off, you sick piece of dog shit, Juzu threatened as Makoto smiles more, which the two heard footsteps and they turned to see Yukinori completely serious. Enough, both of you. There won't be any fighting here, Yukinori said, which Makoto gives as he begins walking away. Juzu is crash. Yukinori was cut off by Juzu kicking a table over as he's completely shocked, never seeing Juzu enraged. If I ever see that bastard try to do anything, I'll kill him, Juzu said as he begins walking away as Yukinori doesn't stop him. That's the first time I've ever seen Juzu show anger, Yukinori thought to himself. Later that day at night, Tokyo Ghoul lost glassy sky. Kaneki finished making the coffee as he pours 2 glasses. She walks to the table with Naruto holding his helmet, which Kaneki sits down at the table as he puts the cup on the table and both take their glass as they begin drinking. It's good, Naruto said, but before the conversation could really get started, Ayato came walking through the room wearing his coat and mask, which they look at him. Let's go, eye patch an angel, Ayato said as he passed them. Kaneki said as the two stood up and placed their mask helmet on. They soon follow him as they walk downstairs, entering the subway, which the ghouls follow, but Naruto stopped as he heard a laugh and looks to see Ito as the others continue onward, which Kaneki slows down and looks at Naruto. Go on without me, was all Naruto said as Kaneki's eyes narrowed as he saw Ito, but just continues running. What is it? Naruto asked as Ito walks towards him and placed both hands in his helmet, but he grabs her arms with narrowed eyes, but she just gives a laugh. Seriously Naruto, is it about Tuka? Ito said, causing his eyes to widen. I know what level Arata is being held at. After she said that, Naruto's eyes widen immediately as she took his helmet off. She begins running with it. Hey, give me that back, Naruto yelled as he chases after her. 30 minutes later. As Naruto chases after her, which he saw her stop as a door and enters it to find a fancy room confusing Naruto as he stops in it while the door shuts behind him as he turns immediately to find Ito behind him, which she rushed forward as her lips meets Naruto's, which he stumbled back as she continues to beep him, which his eyes are wide but closes his eyes as he felt the urge which his Kakugan activates along with Ito's as the beep deepens as her purple cloak falls off, which Naruto begins removing his shirt as they continue beeping each other on the lips. With the Ghoul detention ward. 1000, 1001. 1002, someone yelled with a cell as he's doing pull-ups with only his right arm as his body is buff with his body healing slowly. Chuka, Ayato, I'll see you too soon, as he said that the man turns showing his face as an older Arata along with his hair is much longer reaching his shoulders. Next day, Naruto wakes up slowly as he sat up on the couch and rubbed his eyes as his legs touch the ground and he has his right hand on his head scratching his hair as he has a headache. What happened last night? Everything just a haze, Naruto said, confused at not remembering anything until he felt movement as he looks slowly and his eyes widen all the way seeing a sleeping Ito who's under blankets. Their clothes are all over the floor, which Naruto looks at his clothes on the ground. What happened last night? Naruto asked himself as he holds his head and grits his teeth. In the end Naruto stood up as he puts on his boxers then pants on as he looks in the mirror to find his right Kakugan activated. Naruto's eyes narrowed as his Kakugan deactivates and he continues to get dressed as he holds his helmet while staring at it. Morning, Ito said as she sits up while holding the blankets over her body while smiling at Naruto as her Kakugan is activated, which it deactivates causing Naruto's eyes to narrow all the way as he's looking at her. What happened last night? Naruto asked her as Ito just smiles at him while licking her lips causing his eyes to narrow all the way as he glares at her menacingly as he puts his helmet back on. Never speak of this again, Naruto told her, which she just gives a laugh. I don't think so. You were amazing in bed, Ito told him as Naruto grits his teeth and walks towards the door as he opens it up. Chuka isn't like us, she'll never understand our pain, Ito said, which Naruto just leaves as Ito gives a laugh as she lays back on the couch as she heard the door close. Sooner or later, he'll realize that I'm the only one who can bear his children being the only other half ghoul, Ito said as she goes back to sleep. Next day at the CCG Ghoul Detention Center, Amon is currently walking away from his foster father who stops him. Kotaro, are you still wearing the thing? He asked as Amon grabs his tie. The reason I wear this is so that I don't forget the days I spent in that orphanage, Amon told him as all he said was, oh. I feel nothing but loathing for you. After Amon finished the sentence the alarms began blaring causing his eyes to widen as Akira enters the room. Investigator Amon, Akira said as Amon looks at her while saying her name. It's an Aogiri attack. After Akira finished that sentence, Amon's foster father, Donato's eyes narrowed as he watched the two leave. She looks tasty, unlike her father, but if I try and touch her I would cause Naruto to revert back into that monstrous state. That one child, seeing him in that state caused me to never try and escape again, Donato said to himself, remembering what Naruto transformed into. Currently one of the blockade's Ghoul Detention Center opens up as the investigators and CCG officers take out their guns as they're on the bridges. Soon the ghouls jump down while the CCG officers begin to fire their guns at all the falling ghouls and hitting a few while they land on the bridge. Naruto lands behind a CCG officer who turns to Naruto before having his wing impale him and then sends the officer off the bridge while next to him Tuka lands and chuckles causing his eyes to narrow as he looks at her while Noro lands next to Naruto. Inside the control center, the control switch was destroyed causing the prisoner ghouls on the first floor to appear as they kill the officers in the first floor. Naruto flies to the other bridge meeting Kaneki and Ayato along with other ghouls as they begin traveling inside it and down the steps. While he was walking down the stairs next to Kaneki, he noticed they being watched, which his eyes nasties and widened to see Akira, which Akira to has wide eyes seeing the wings on Angel's back, which he continues down the steps faster, but as they walk into an opening the extra ghouls were fired at and killed, which Naruto looks to see the door to the lower detention center closing while the officers were during it then causing Ayato to grit his teeth, but Naruto jumps down as his wings turns into a pair of hands as they grab the opening and stops it from closing. Hurry! Naruto yelled as both Kaneki and Ayato enter as they rid if the guards quickly which most run away as Naruto finally enters as he lands on the bridge to find them running away. We don't have time to eating, Naruto says as he walks towards the staircase along with Kaneki heading for the detention center for SS class ghouls. Kaneki, we'll be splitting up. I'll be heading for the SSS rank ghouls while you locate Rise's dad, Naruto told Kaneki, who gives a nod as the two enter the lower levels. Lowest level, SSS rank. Naruto enters the room as he begins walking through the large room. As Naruto is walking he remembers the past. Flashback years ago, a kid Naruto was watching as Ayato's father Arata was talking to Ayato about glaring at the guest while Naruto is sitting on the bed watching Ayato nod in an understanding way as Naruto looks to see Tuka entering the room holding a glass of coffee which she hands him and immediately he downs it, surprising the three as Naruto gives a smile. Thank you for the coffee. Wait, how did you? Naruto was cut off by Arata, who shows him a mirror and Naruto's eyes widen seeing his Kakugan is activated. Your Kakugan is activated, but it's surprising seeing a one-eyed ghoul, Arata said, and he noticed Naruto looking down with shock as he logs his head. Mom died because she was a ghoul. Dad found out and killed Mom. Am I just gonna end up like? Naruto was cut off by the kid Tuka placing a hand on his cheek. It's okay to be sad. But you're still alive as well as you survived without eating for a while, so you must be strong, Tuka said, causing Naruto's eyes to widen as he looks down sadly. Strong, Naruto said as he repeats the word and felt Arata ruffle his hair. I know someone who can help you, he's an old friend of mine, Arata told Naruto, who looks at him surprised as he heard footsteps and they look to seeing a man wearing a waiter's outfit which he gives Naruto a smile. Hello, I'm a friend of your mother's. My name is Yoshimura, Yoshimura said with a smile as Naruto looked at him. Flashback end. Naruto stops in front of the door as his eyes narrowed seeing all the doors closed. Naruto opens the door slowly. Arata, are you okay? Naruto asked as he wears, but his eyes widened since Arata wasn't even in the room. Wait, but where is he? Naruto asked himself as his eyes widen and flies straight for the stairs. Where Juzo is. Get out of my way. Juzo yelled as he's slashing through ghoul after ghoul with the Jason Quink as he's speeding towards what were reprinted two female ghouls. Where Corona and Nashiro are. Corona and Nashiro are running at full speed, which Corona jumps over Nashiro as she jumps on a CCG officer's shoulder, which Nashiro kills him and Corona kills the other guy. The two head for two more CCG officers as they killed them and continue onward but stop to find a like of bodies. Hey, I can't believe it. So it is you two from the field. Corona and Nashiro, the one who said it was Makoto holding a spear while smiling at the two, causing their eyes to widen as they remove their masks. Now this is gonna be fun, Makoro said to them as he begins spinning the spear as he approached them. Where Kaneki is. Kaneki sends all four of his tentacles at Matasaka, who begins dodging them. Laughable. As Matasaka said it, he jumps high and spins blocking the tentacles. Ultra laughable, Matasaka yelled as he jumps at Kaneki, who ducks, and Matasaka changes directions and lands in the ground, which he charged straight at Kaneki, appearing in front of him like a blur, causing his eyes to widen seeing the anger in Matasaka's eyes, which Matasaka slams his fist into Kaneki's stomach, which it goes deeper as Kaneki does nothing while Matasaka pulls his fist back and Kaneki falls to his knees while his mask falls off from blood coming out of Kaneki's mouth as he falls forward while holding his stomach. Matasaka extends his right hand but someone grabs it, causing his eyes to narrow as he looks to see Arata. As a father, I know what it feels like missing your children, but... As Arata finished the sentence, two demonic-looking wings come out of him as he unleashes a barrage of crystals at Matasaka, who begins dodging as he swings his right fist straight for Arata, which he does the sand as their fists connect. As they begin to fight, Naruto floyd into the room with wide eyes as he instantly goes to Kaneki's side and helps him up as Kaneki looks at the two fighting on equal level, but Arata is a little faster while Matasaka is a little stronger. We'll leave it up to him, Naruto said as he flushed towards the stairs to another way towards the top floor. Where Makoto is. Makoto stops spinning his spears as he smiles at the two, which they get in defensive stances. I wonder, could a twin feel pain when the other twin dies? As Makoto asked his question, it caused their eyes to narrow as Makoto's smile widens. Now, if I kill you guys, I can finally see it. What caused him to be chosen by Tsuneyoshi Washu, Makoto said, causing the two to become angered as the Kaguns activate. Time for the execution. Hey, Makoto said to them with a smile. Back to Naruto and Kaneki. Naruto and Kaneki are running through a large pathway, but they stop as their eyes widen to find almost all the ghouls they had were killed, which their eyes are wide seeing the one standing in the pool of blood wearing the white suit. Hey. So you're a part of the so-called Aogiri tree that invaded my ghoul detention center, the man said as the two are completely shocked. I am Special Class Investigator Akashi Zone, the warden of this jail, Akashi said to the two. Where Ayato is. Ayato watches as Yukinori takes off his white coat. I think I'll have to use my errata, Yukinori thought as armor suddenly appears on his body, causing Ayato's eyes to widen immediately. You took a piece of him, Ayato said, causing Yukinori to raise an eyebrow as Ayato runs straight at him. Dad, you idiot, Arata thought to himself as he charges straight for Yukinori, already knowing that armor is a part of his father's Kagun. Naruto and Kaneki were sent fly back as Akashi just smiles as the two stood up as Naruto unleashes a barrage of crystals, but Akashi dodges them with while his hidden blades are out. Is that all? Akashi asked as Naruto charged the swings his quink as it connects to Akashi's two quinks, causing him to smile. Didn't a man named Kureo Mato own that quink? After asking his question, Naruto's right eye narrows. As he thrusts the blade forward for his face, but it moves to the side as he grits his teeth, which Akashi swings for Naruto's head, but he uses his wings to block it, but it blocked his view, which his back was slashed, drawing blood as he grits his teeth and turns just as Akashi was dodging Kaneki's version 2 of his Kagun, which Naruto pitches in as he begins swinging his wings at Akashi, who's dodging and causing the two to grit their teeth at the speed of his dodging. Naruto soon unleashes the crystals at Akashi close up, which he smiles as his hidden blades extend connected by a strong wire, causing their eyes to widen as Akashi swings the sword as they bend while blocking their crystals as they jump back, but their chests were slashed by their blades' pure speed, causing the two have narrowed eyes as their wounds are healing slowly, and they charge again at a smiling Akashi, who begins swinging his blades to makes it look like a sphere-like shield as he charges for the two. Where Makoto is. Bring it, Makoto yelled with a smile as their fight continues, as Makoto's only spear is blocking both girls' attacks as they jump down to a wider area as Makoto jumps back, dodging then as their Kaguns head for Makoto, who swings his spear fast as their blades on the side of the spear as he swings, which their attacks were blocked. I don't give a shit why you two became ghouls, I just want to face Juzu at his highest point, Makoto said as their eyes narrowed as Nashiro jumps high above Makoto as Corona just charges at him. CCG really is insane, Nashiro said as she swung her Kagun down as Makoto blocks it with his spear, and Corona has her opening as she is on front of Makoto with her Kagun pointed at his chest, but all Makoto does was smile, causing her eyes to widen as from his left knee, a quink blade comes out as he rammed it forward into Corona's chest, causing her eyes to widen as she spits out blood and receives a roundhouse kick, causing Nashiro's eyes to widen as she jumps back to her sister. Pathetic. I bet Juzu would act the same as me if he didn't know you too, Makoto said as he points his spear at Corona as it immediately extends, causing her eyes to widen as she moves out of the way, but it instantly changed directions as it stabs through her chest, causing her eyes to side along with Nashiro's. Corona! Nashiro yelled as the blade recedes back to Makoto, exiting Corona, who's on one knee. I'm all right, it will heal, Corona said, which Makoto just smiles sadistically. Really? After asking that, the two look at Makoto, who smiles as he holds the spear evenly as the other end turns into a spear. I don't think so, I'll kill you two and take my time doing it painfully, Makoto told them. Where Ayato is. Ayato charges at Shinohara as his Kagun clashes with Shinohara's quink weapon, which Shinohara spins around, keeping his eyes on Ayato, who jumps for him as he blocks again with his weapon and goes for a chop, but Ayato jumps high over Shinohara while firing his crystals, which Shinohara blocks as he turns and blocks again, causing Ayato to move again. He's fast, but, with that thought, Shinohara spins as he slashes a piece of Ayato's Kagun off as he jumps back and jumps forward as he fires, which Shinohara blocks it just as Ayato lands on the side of the wall and heads down straight for Shinohara while firing more crystals, but as their battle continues, Ayato receives a sound in his right shoulder causing him to hold it in pain as he continues to fire and heads for Shinohara as his wings hit Shinohara's weapon which it blocks his attack and in the end he was sent flying back as he rolled in the floor and got up shakily. Damn it! Ayato thought as he charges for Shinohara again. Back to Makoto. Makoto smiles as his quink rips through Corona's shoulder as she spits out blood and the spear changes directions as they pierce Corona's back going through her chest while Nashiro is also receiving damage as she tries making distance. The spear comes out of Corona while her Kagun disappears as she falls to her knees. Weak. I expected more from Ghoul's Academy trainees, Makoto says as Corona hits the ground but stops before she could hit the ground surprising Makoto. I don't care what you say. Rei is nothing like you. After saying that, Makoto's eyes narrowed. I've changed my mind, I'll kill Nashiro first, Makoto said causing fear to appear in both her eyes as he begins walking towards Nashiro. Makoto. Corona yelled but he ignores her. Shirt. No. Corona yelled seeing Nashiro charge at a smiling Makoto who sound around before stabbing the spear through her chest drawing more blood as Corona's eyes widen all he way while Nashiro has the look of disbelief on her face which Makoto pulls out of her as she hits the ground. You're what's precious to Corona, ahahahaha, Makoto said with a smile. Where Naruto and Kaneki are. The two could do nothing as Akashi's blades are slashing them all over their body with speed and power which the blades become one again. Is that all? Akashi yelled stabbing both in the chest causing them to vomit up blood as Kaneki's mask falls off while Naruto's already crack helmet shatters as he soon sends he two flying with such strength that rivaled Arata causing the two to crash into the fall into the next room. Where Ayato is. Ayato is breathing hard as his Kagun size is small as he's looking at Shinohara's armor which is from Arata's Kagun. With anger Ayato charges at Shinohara again but each time sent back. My Arata's movements are sluggish. Why? Shinohara asked himself as Ayato charges again with rage causing Shinohara to hold his ground as Ayato's left wing crystallized as he thrusts forward but it was broken by Shinohara's quink as it slashed his chest causing him to hit the ground in front of Shinohara which Ayato's Kagun recedes but it was far from over as Ayato begins trying to get up as Shinohara just looks down at him. Ayato gets up painfully as he's shaking which Shinohara grips his quink as he lifts it up slowly while Ayato stands up slowly raising his right fist as he gives a very weak punch while falling to his knees surprising Shinohara at this action. Ayato looks up slowly Ayato Shinohara, shocking the man completely seeing the look of absolute nothing, losing the will to fight and live. Flashback. A kid Tuka, Ayato, and Naruto were currently in the same bed as Arata was in it too reading the three a book with a smile. The boy reached out his hand, and said, "Be my friend." Godot smiled happily, and shook his hand back. The end. Arata said to them as Naruto was closely next to Tuka as the three smile. Again. Tuka asked causing Naruto to give a nod. Huh. Arata said with a smile. Me too, Ayato said agreeing with Tuka causing Arata to give a sigh as he just smiles. All right, and with that Arata begins reading again. After some time the three fell asleep in bed, Naruto next to Tuka while Ayato sleeping in the other end. Arata smiles as he turns on the light as he looks back at the three smiling. Good night, Tuka, Ayato, Naruto, I'll be back in the morning. With that he goes to shut the lights out as he slowly closed the door which Ayato opens his eyes slowly and looks seeing the sadness on Arata's face as the door closed. Dad, was all Ayato said with sadness. Flashback end. Dad, I'm sorry for everything, Ayato said weakly causing Shinohara's eyes to widen all the way as he looks at his quink armor putting the pieces together already knowing it was truly painful of a son to fight his own father. Ayato's hand falls as he hits the ground. This kid, Shinohara stops as he heard something as looks up to see someone falling straight for him as he jumps back there was a large dust cloud that was created causing Shinohara's eyes to narrow as he looks and his eyes widen seeing Arata holding an unconscious Ayato as he has a look of sadness on his face. Tokyo Ghoul asked moving on. Don't say sorry, I'm the idiot, when he said that tears were falling from his eyes and into Ayato's face. I could have been there for you but because of me you and your sister suffered, and Naruto can't decide what to do anymore. Because of me you guys went through hell. Rest now, my son, because of deserve it. Arata said to Ayato as he places him on the ground as he's breathing steadily, which Arata stood up. Shinohara, what you've done, what you did, has not just affected me but my entire family. Because of me, because I was weak that I lost to you, but that changed. I've trained my body for years and my Kagun, I'm no longer the weak man you knew, Arata said as his body was being covered by his Kagun, causing Shinohara's eyes to widen all the way as Arata turns to him having dragon-like wings while his busy was covered in thick armor looking exactly like Shinohara's, but it's covering his face. And Shinohara, Arata said, and with that he disappeared in a blink of an eye, causing Shinohara's eyes to widen as Arata appears behind him. You are no longer at my level. With that he thrusts his right fist forward into Shinohara's stomach, causing his eyes to widen as his Arata shatters, and as his fists is still connected to his stomach, the Arata quink begins to be absorbed by Arata himself, which Shinohara could not move his body as his quink leaves his body, while Arata grows 2 more wings and 2 more arms, causing Shinohara's eyes to widen all the way. I am now at the one-eyed owl's level, Arata told him as his face mask resembles an Oni mask, which he proceeds to deliver devastating fist to Shinohara, who uses his quink weapon to block, but it shatters as he receives a barrage of fists, causing him to vomit out blood as he was being held by his neck. I will not kill you, because of you and still alive, so I'll allow you to live, just this once, Arata said as he drops the badly hurt Shinohara on the ground, which he walks to his son and picks him up as he immediately takes odd upwards. Ost end. Where Makoto is during that time before Arata arrived. Shiro. Corona yelled as Makoto raises his spear, which Nashiro is crying from her left eye as she extends his left hand out to Corona. Who? R.O. Nashiro said weakly as Corona runs to her while extending her right hand, causing Makoto to smile more as he raises his spear just as both sisters hold each other's hands, and before Makoto could strike he heard something coming straight for him and turns immediately, blocking a strike, causing both girls' eyes to widen at this as Makoto was sent flying back as he lands on the ground, which the girls are shocked to see none other than Juzu, who's standing in front of them. Rei. Corona said as she holds her sister in her arms while Nashiro looks up at Juzu, who looks at the two and smiles. Hey, Corona and Nashiro. It's been a while, Juzu said to the two as Corona wipes away the tears in her eyes as Juzu turns to the smiling Makoto. Makoto, do you remember what I told you when you tried to touch them? Juzu asked as Jason 13 goes berserk as it starts growing, causing Makoto's eyes to widen all the way as it consumes his entire bodies, resembling Yamori's Kakuja, except it's covering his entire body, like a black bodysuit except for the fact that his entire body has thorns on it. A Kakuja, Makoto thought as his eyes narrowed as Juzu cracks his middle finger of his left hand. I won't be breaking any bones today, I'll be taking that arm of yours, Juzu said as he charges straight for Makoto, who smiles as he sends both spears. Juzu who's begins doing the spears, causing his eyes to widen as he blocks both spears as they bend towards Juzu, but Makoto's eyes widen all the way, seeing Juzu's left eye turns into the Kakugan. Weak. Version 2, was all Juzu said as his right arm grows a scythe, causing Makoto's eyes to widen all the way. Shit, Makoto thought, never knowing he could do that. As his spear moves in front of him as a shield, but Juzu jumps high above Makoto as his back grows a scythe as both forearms grow a scythe as well, which he jumps straight for Makoto, causing his eyes to widen all the way as Juzu begins to spin into a spiked ball as more scythes appear as Makoto sends both of his spears at Juzu, who immediately stops spinning as he dodges the first one and grabs the second one as he pulls flung even faster as in one move. Makoto's left arm was sent flying as his eyes widen all the way as Juzu stands up straight while Makoto begins to yell in pain as he blocked the blood glowing from his missing left arm as he dropped his quink and falls on the ground, while Juzu runs to the two girls as he picks both of the up and places them over his shoulders as he takes off, leaving Makoto, who grits his teeth angrily. Damn it, Makoto thought to himself. Back to Akashi before Juzu arrived. Naruto ost strong and strike. Akashi's eyes narrowed as he heard sounds coming from the inside of the next room, which immediately bursts out 4 tentacle claws as well as 8 arms, causing his eyes to widen immediately as he goes to dodge all of them with his fastest speed and jumps back, which he smiles widely as from the hole comes out Naruto and Kaneki, both in their half Kakuja states, as they both jump high and begin to run and jump around the entire room, which Akashi looks around. Another half Kakuja, both incomplete but still. Akashi thought as he turns fast dodging the centipede tails while Naruto lands and begins swinging the blade with more speed and power at Akashi, who grits his teeth as his blades extend and begins swinging, then countering the two as Kaneki smiles widely. Akashi swings both blades as he's jumping back and blocking both their attacks with a lot of trouble as cuts appear on his body as Naruto unleashes a large barrage of crystals at Akashi, who looks to see that as he jumps back dodging them, but he was hit by Kaneki's centipede tail sending him into the ground and rolls back. Powerful, but still, with those thoughts his eyes widen as he predicts Kaneki's next nice as he sends his centipede tail straight at Akashi, who sidesteps as he slashes Kaneki's body, drawing a lot of blood while he jumps back from Naruto's 8 wings, which he runs to Kaneki's side and helps him up. Just as Kaneki's Kagun disappeared from Akashi's strike, it reappears, but not just the centipede tail. My fingers. On the bench, cough, see centipedes. In my ears. With that's those words, his centipede tails grow back along with 4 more tentacles. How many Kaguns does this guy possess? He's starting to resemble a spider, Akashi says with wide eyes as Kaneki just chuckles. 1,000 minus. 1,000 minus. S7. As Kaneki was talking, Akashi's eyes narrowed at the two. This kid, he needs to grow more if I want to have the match of my life, Akashi thought to himself. 7 is what? And with that the two disappear in the blink of an eye, appearing behind Akashi, who turns fast, but his eyes widen seeing Naruto's right hand under Kaneki's left hand as there was a blood-red spiraling orb. Wah! What is that? Akashi yelled, never seeing anything like it as he clicked seeing small pieces of their Kaguns entering the orb. What the hell is that? Akashi yelled as his eyes widened more, forgetting to dodge. Rasengan! The two yell as they ram the orb into Akashi's stomach, causing his eyes to widen all the way as the attack which his body begins to skid back as the two give a yell, causing Akashi to be sent flying back as he crashes through the wall, which both fall to their knees at that as Naruto's Kakuja deactivates while Kaneki holds his head. As this was happening, CRC gas begins entering the room, but Kaneki's Kagun doesn't deactivate, which Naruto hits the ground unable to get up and his eyes widen hearing someone talk and looks to seeing Amon and Akira. Kaneki just looks weakly and hungrily at them, causing Naruto's eyes to narrow while Amon's eyes widen all the way seeing Kaneki's white hair and Naruto recognizing him from Kureo's family pictures. Putting his thoughts aside, he charges for Kaneki, needing to know something, while Akira looks at Naruto as her eyes widen all the way seeing him holding onto Kureo's sword. Tokyo Ghoul Ost Glassy Sky. Eye patch. Amon roared loudly at Kaneki while Naruto couldn't get up as he watched Kaneki turn to Amon as he blocks his quink with his 2 tentacles and centipede tail. Kaneki just pushes Amon away, who charges again with a yell as his quink hits the centipede tail. Eye patch. I wanted to speak with you. Why did you not kill me back then? Amon demands him, which Naruto's eyes widen hearing that. That night, you were crying. Was that a lie? As Amon yelled the last part, he chopped off one of the centipede tails and a tentacle which they hits the ground. Kaneki makes a sound of pain as they try to grow back but can't since he doesn't have enough RC cells to do so. Amon spits his quink in half. I thought that I could get an answer from you as to who I wasn't killed. You, the one who let me go. HRRRRRRRR. As Amon yelled, he begins chopping all of the tentacles off as Kaneki turns to Amon slowly as he gives a yell and thrusts forward, but Naruto gets in the way protecting Kaneki, and he gets it by the attack as he hits the ground, which Kaneki helps him sit up as his left hand is holding his side while the right gripping the katana. Amon points his right weapon at Kaneki, which the two look up at him. That's all, right? An ordinary ghoul is all you are, right? That's all, right? Amon yelled, causing Kaneki's right eye to start shedding tears as he begins crying while his Kagun recedes. I don't want to fight anymore, Kaneki told Amon as Naruto looks down sadly. But then they heard the sound of a door opening and they all look up to see bodies falling as 2 bloody and monstrous hands open up the door as Ito peeks through in her Kakuja state while blood is oozing from her mouth as she falls and lands in the ground at their position. Investigator Amon, Akira yelled while Ito grows 2 blade-like wings, causing Akira's eyes to widen as Ito picks Naruto up in her arms while blade-like wings grow from her back with electricity. Owl, Akira said with shock as Ito's Kakuja's right foot grabs him, causing Kaneki to yell in pain as Amon is in the ground. Owl, was all Eamon said as her cloak enveloped the two as Ito just looks back at the hole in the wall hearing footsteps as Akashi enters with his suit torn and smiling as some blood is coming out of his mouth. Give them a message from me when they wake up. Sadly I could not go all out, maybe next time. After Akashi finished, Ito took off towards the ceiling which Akira just looks away. Eye patch. Eamon said while as they were being carried away. Naruto was inside the Kakuja as Ito was holding the unconscious Naruto in her arms with a smile on her face. You're almost there, you've almost awakened, Ito told him with a smile. At the hospital, the next day. Thank goodness. Then, you'll be discharged in a few days, Eamon asked Shinohara who's currently sitting upright in the hospital bed. Yeah, sorry to worry you, Shinohara said it with a lost look in his eyes remembering what Arata said to him. I could have been there for you but because of me you and your sister suffered, and Naruto can't decide what to do anymore. Because of me you guys went through hell. Rest now, my son, because you deserve it Shinohara. What you've done, what you did, has not just affected me but my entire family. Because of me, because I was weak that I lost to you but that changed. I've trained my body for years and my Kagun, I'm no longer the weak man you knew. Arata is now an SSS ranked ghoul. Has there been any sign of Juzu? After Shinohara asked, Eamon just shook his head. Makoto reported that he fled with both ghouls, Nashiro and Corona. They haven't been seen since. After Eamon said it, Shinohara sighs as he looks out the window. From now Makoto reported, he fused with his quink somehow. Eamon, I feel like some big is going to happen, but I don't know what. After Shinohara said that he starts thinking about Juzu. Juzu, where are you? What will you do? Was the only thoughts that came into Shinohara's mind. At night where Naruto and Kaneki are. Sigh was the only sound Naruto made as he has his left hand touching his head while Kaneki is sitting at the table lifting a cup of coffee as his hand begins shaking and drops the coffee as it shatters from hitting the ground gaining Naruto's attention immediately to see Kaneki fall to the ground in pain. Here we go again, was all Naruto said as his wings come out and his Kakugan activates while a centipede tail comes out from Kaneki as he begins screaming in pain as he stood up holding his face. Kaneki calm down, was all Naruto said as he tackles Kaneki to the ground fast as he's screaming while his wings are restraining his centipede tail which was struggling a lot. Few days later at the CCG, Eamon walks out of the room holding papers followed by an attendant. All right. I'll convey that to development, was what the woman said as Eamon responded to it. Thank you for your trouble. Well, if you'll excuse me, after saying that he gives a bow as he begins walking away and looks at the papers showing Nashiro, Corona, Juzu, and finally Naruto. It was reported that Akashi revealed the information of who the one-eyed angel really was. How could a human become a ghoul? If it's possible for a human to become a ghoul, then, Eamon thought to himself as from a corner appears Makoto with his right hand holding a quink suitcase while his left arm is all bandaged up after reattaching it. Makoto bumps into Eamon by accident causing him to drop his papers. Oh, sorry, Makoto said as he goes on one knee. She begins helping as he picks up a few papers causing Eamon to blink in surprise as he looks at Makoto which his eyes widen completely seeing Makoto not showing his usual attitude. Here, Makoto said as he stood up handing Eamon his papers. Makoto, Eamon said as he noticed Makoto wearing a sweatshirt which he pulls his hoodie up. I'm quitting the CCG. I lost to Juzu and he spared my life. A failure like me has no place here, Makoto told Eamon while leaning against the wall at the corner was Akashi was his eyes closed. Quote. To lose against Juzu, Akashi no longer needs a failure such as I, Makoto said to Eamon as he picks up his suitcase and begins walking away. Really now, the score is Juzu 1 and Makoto 0, someone said as Eamon turns seeing Zane stand next to him which Makoto stops walking as he starts to shake. What? I told you, I'm quitting. A failure such as myself is not needed here, Makoto was cut off by Zane. You sure? Doesn't look like it to me. After saying that, droplets of water hits the ground as under the hoodie was Makoto crying. Fine, but next time I'll win, Makoto said as Eamon smiles seeing this while Akashi opens his eyes as he gives a little laugh and behind walking down the hallway, not going to even say anything. At the zoo, currently a hooded Juzu was currently drawing on a board when he heard talking, which he looks to the right to see a kid and his father. "Ah," the kid said loudly as the father holds his hand. "You've got to hold on tight to it," the father said, which his son replies by saying, "Yeah, but," which the father continues, "All right, let's go, but another one," the father said as Juzu noticed the fallen ice cream cone. "Really, I promise not to let this one go," the son said as they walk off, which Juzu touched his head remembering his past. Juzu heard footsteps and stood up. "Shinohara," was all Juzu said as he begins walking towards a hidden Corona and Nashiro as they three begin walking away. Where Ayato is. Ayato wakes up with a start fast as he's taking deep breaths and grips his black t-shirt, which he blinks in surprise seeing that he's in a room that he doesn't recognize. "Where am I?" was the first thing Ayato said, and his eyes widen recognizing the smell of coffee, which his eyes widen all the way in shock. "Why am I here?" was the first thing Ayato thought as he gets out of bed while he's wearing the same clothes as a few days ago except for the cloak. Ayato immediately runs out the door as he looks both ways and runs down the path towards the door leading towards the shop as he runs down the steps and immediately opens the door pissed. "Why the hell am I even here?" Ayato stops completely as he's frozen. He sees Arata sitting at a table with Tuka, who's smiling, and the two look at the door, seeing Ayato, causing Arata to smile as he stood up, which he walks over to Ayato as he stood right in front of a shocked Ayato. "Naruto asked Yamaga Sumi, it's been a while, Ayato," as Arata said that he smiles at Ayato, who just looks at him shocked, which Arata immediately flinched, causing Toka's eyes to widen while the manager doesn't do anything. What shocked Tuka was Ayato's right fist, which slammed into Arata's stomach. "How could you leave us? Do you have any idea what we went through because you got caught? Exclamation mark. We were betrayed, killed to survive. Because of you I had to leave everything behind in order to get stronger. Because of you I killed so many people, because of you Tuka was endangered. Because of you I couldn't even have a normal life, I had to close everyone off. Even now I couldn't do anything, I kept getting my ass kicked. Because What am I supposed to do now?" Ayato yelled as he grabs his hair and begins pulling it, having all this anger and frustration. As this was happening, Arata just watches his son as tears begin falling from his eyes, which Arata shows a sad smile. "Ayato, how old are you?" Arata asked, which Tuka blinks in surprise as Ayato is rubbing his tears away. 16, was all Ayato said as Arata sighs. "So you're already 16, huh? Always fighting, never having friends, always keeping the ones you care about away from you. It was very hard and I'm sorry. But sorry can't cut it. I've been gone for years and saying sorry will not make everything you went through go away, both of you I mean. As a father, I ranked as the worst of all. My stupidity caused you pain. The only thing I can do now is this." After saying that, Arata placed his right hand on Ayato's head. "Happy birthday, Ayato." When Arata said those two words, Ayato's eyes widen all the way along with Toka's, which she looks at the calendar seeing that it's Ayato's birthday. Ayato couldn't saying anything except for the fact that he's crying again, which Arata wraps his right arm around his head as he continues crying, and soon Arata hugs Ayato. As this was happening, Arata motions Tuka to come over as she hugs Arata, which Arata was hugging both of them with a sad smile as tears appear in his eyes. "It's been so long since I've held my children," Arata thought with tears of joy, causing the manager to smile. "There wasn't a day that went by I was worried about you too," Arata said to the both as he's smiling. End. At the bar during that time Takizawa left. Both Eamon and Akira were sitting down in the bar alone with the owner inside. Akira was a little drunk after drinking and soon behind talking to Eamon. "My father. Had both the talent and the teach record, but hit a ceiling at senior investigator. My father couldn't get promoted, no matter how long it took. There were even those who coked him a quink crazy oaf," Akira said to Eamon, who doesn't speak. Tokyo Ghoul asked, moving on, guitar only. As long as he has a strong will and purpose, rank and status were nothing. That's what my father said. As Akira went on, she grits her teeth thinking about a kid version of her in Naruto. But I'm sure it was because of me. My father looked after me while he was working. I thought that if I could hurry and grow up, I could help him. He talked about you a lot. He was proud to have you under him. My father was right. Even when facing the owl, you didn't even flinch. While by comparison, Akira was cut off by Amon. You were injured. You couldn't help it, Amon told her as she continues. My mom was killed by my dad. And without a doubt my brother killed my father out of revenge. As Akira said that, she grits her teeth, which Amon starts thinking of Naruto, who protected Eyepatch. When my brother and my father were fighting each other, what the hell were you doing? Why weren't you at his side? Why didn't you fight alongside him? If you're strong enough to be made a senior investigator, if he's had a senior investigator next to him, he wouldn't be dead, Akira told Amon, who was glancing at her and turns to her, which before he could saying anything else after saying just, Akira continued as she looks at him. You killed my father, Amon Kotaro. I hate your guts. After finishing, the expression on Amon's face does not change. Akira, you are correct. I'm the one who killed Mr. Matto. Even now, I have nightmares about that night. If only I'd been stronger, I may have been able to save Mr. Matto, Amon told her as he shows a serious expression along with Akira. Why are you saying this now? Akira asked him, confused, which he continues. Which is why I want to protect you even more now. With those very words, Akira's eyes widen. No matter what, I want to protect the one that Mr. Matto held so dear, Amon told her as her eyes narrowed and looked down. I see, was the last thing she said as she lays her head and right arm on the table. Akira, hey, Akira, shoot, was the last thing Amon said, knowing what he must do next. End. Later that day, Amon arrives inside Akira's apartment as he closed the door behind him and turns on the light. Akira, we're here, Amon told her, but she just mumbles as Amon noticed the cat. Oh, a cat. Good evening, Amon said as all it did was meow and walked away. Pardon the intrusion, Amon told the cat as he walks forward, and after some time he placed Akira on her bed, which he smiles until Akira made a sound of sickness or pain, causing Amon's eyes to widen as he runs to the door and leaves. 1 minute later, Amon returns out of breath as he takes his shoes off and walks towards Akira's room. As he enters it, Akira, Amon was silenced by a blood-red katana on his right shoulder, which it sparks with black lightning. Turn around slowly, or I'll kill you. The one who said it was Naruto is not wearing his disguise, which Amon turns slowly to Naruto as his eyes widen. Amon was stopped as the sword touched his neck. Be quiet, she's sleeping, Naruto told him as he pulls the blade away from his neck as he walks past Amon as sits in the bed as he looks at Akira with a sad smile. Seems she's drunk again, Naruto said, and Amon's eyes widened seeing Naruto's clothes covered in blood. Relax, it's mine, Naruto told Amon as his left hand moves her hair out of her face as he gives a sad smile. Why did you kill him? Amon finally asked as Naruto's eyes narrowed. He killed our mother. What did you think I was supposed to do? You CCG are the cause of all this chaos. You only keep adding to the flames that will burn us all to nothing. It is because of you that Eyepatch suffers so much. Because of you he's in a lot of pain. As well as why I'm in pain, Naruto said as he stood up. You CCG presume we are the monsters that must die, but in fact you are the ones to blame, Naruto told Amon as he walks past him towards the door as Amon looks at Naruto, who stops in front of the door. This will be the last time I see my sister. Amon, Naruto said as they both have eye contact. I leave my sister in your care, do not let her die. She is one of the ones I care for the most in this accursed world we live in, Naruto said as he leaves the room while Amon is wide-eyed at hearing that. Next day in CCG. Those of you who are gathered here today have been hand-picked by me to be members of the Owl and Angel Suppression Unit. Starting today, this unit will work under and report directly to me. As Yoshitoki was talking, in the room is currently Amon, Zane, Akashi, Makoto, Shinohara, Mugen, Itsuki, Iwao, Kosuke, and more. Amon looks around, not seeing Akira a part of the unit. It is now indisputable that the Owl is the head of Aogiri while Angel is second in command. Once we locate their base, we will launch an extermination campaign. But before anything else, you will all be shown a video of an incident that took place 4 years ago at the 13th Ward. I warn you, what you're about to see is the Angel's complete Kakuja. After finishing, Yoshidoki pressed a button showing a scene of the battle, causing everyone to become horrified while Zane and Akashi were completely shocked seeing it, a monster. It gives off a terrifying roar as it devours countless doves with blood splattering everywhere. As the video itself was static, it was the same size as Owl but far different. Look on my profile for what it looks like, the credit goes to the one who made it. Look on my profile, the link is under the name which is called, Naruto Complete Kakuja. When you see the picture, it has 10 wings and the eyes on the wings are Rinne Sharingan. As they continue to watch, a few investigators were closing their eyes as the others watch its wings tear one of the investigators apart as the monster picks up the head as it lifts the head over its own, which it looks up as his rips open the skull as the blood and the brain fall into its mouth, which it swallows it, which the video shuts off while everyone was completely shocked. As of this moment, Angel is SSS ranked. He is now the most dangerous ghoul that's ever existed, Yoshidoki told everyone as Amon was shocked seeing this. Naruto is currently watching Kaneki, who is screaming in pain as veins are on his face and back as his Kagun is forcing its was out as it took form, which his left eye changes to its Kakugan form as he once again continues eating another dead ghoul as Naruto just looks away hearing Kaneki yells and screams of pain as after a few minutes he's in his knees holding his head. I was wrong. I wasn't eating ghouls. I'm the one. Who was being eaten, Kaneki said as Naruto sighs. A little more, and you'll being a full Kakuja. Just bear with the pain, Naruto told him as Kaneki looks down while Naruto looks out at the view, which he looks down at his right hand. Naruto closed his eyes remembering Tuka, Hinami, and Mr. Yoshimura. Kaneki, tomorrow we're going to talk to Mr. Yoshimura. After he said that, Kaneki looks at him to see he's staring out the window. The next day, as Naruto and Kaneki walk up the steps up Anteku, Roma was cleaning the tables inside. Roma heard the door open as she smiles. Come right on. Roma stops in shock as she took a step back while dropping the glasses, causing Yoshimura to turn seeing Naruto and Kaneki. We need to talk, was all Naruto said as Yoshimura nods. 10 minutes later, Yoshimura was pouring the two a glass of coffee as they're sitting on a couch, which he sets it in front of them. Tell me, Naruto said, stopping Yoshimura as Kaneki looks at Naruto. More about your daughter Ito. The owl. When he said that, Kaneki's eyes widened slightly as Yoshimura just sat down in silence as he opens his eyes a little, showing his Kakugan. I was once called Kuzan, Yoshimura said to them as Naruto looks at him while Kaneki is looking down. Like so many ghouls do, in order to survive, I devoured people, and I even slaughtered the ghouls who were my companions. All the while cursing my fate, powerfully, in solitude. Stories about me began to share as far and wide, and one organization set their sights on me. They decided to enlist me into their organization. I did as the organization ordered me, killing both humans and ghouls alike. That is what my job became. I remained, as before, alone. The organization did not work. It's to be a home for me. One day, I ran into a certain human in an old coffee shop. When he said that last sentence, a smile grew on his face. Before long, we started seeing each other occasionally. Although I was alone, and never opened my heart to others, for some reason, I let her into my heart. However, after saying that, the smile disappears. She saw me one day when I was hunting. I decided to kill her regretfully, but she hugged me, saying, "It must have been hard, being alone for so long, right?" Those words struck me in the deepest part of my soul from seeing that she accepted me. Soon enough, I impregnated her. Unless a miracle happens, any child of a ghoul and a human, after saying that Naruto looks at his hands. Does Naruto finished for him? She did perform a miracle. At last, the joyous event took place. However, the joy did not last very long. I was being chased by the ghouls of the organization I was once a part of. They aimed to kill me since I've killed their own. I ran holding our child along with her, but I lost my grip as one ghoul delivers a fatal blow. I sent him back as I held her. But she only smiles sadly as she died in my arms. When he said that, Naruto's eyes are completely wide. I had no choice but to leave her and run. But knowing they will be after me again, I had no choice but to leave my child in the 24th ward. I decided to leave Ito. Even though she held on to me, I simply pulled away from her. And killed one by one those that hunted me until there was no one else. But Ito was already gone. And so was my happiness. And so, time passed, the owl who hated the wild world appeared. My child. When he finished, Naruto stood up. Kaneki, we're leaving, Naruto said to him as he stood up. I had once said you two had a place in both worlds. The thing that you two are trying to throw away is half of what makes you who you are. There's still time for you to choose. As you walk the line between humans and ghouls, you ghouls give it some thought, and then some more. It would be good if you could help lonely souls. And someday, my child as well. Won't you two come back to Anteku? When he finished, Naruto had wide eyes as thoughts began appearing in his head. We do what we do to survive, that is a ghoul. As soon as you realize this world is hell, the sooner you realize that you have to stop acting like a kid to be a man. A ghoul is not a monster, what you do makes you a monster. Just killing for fun, and sport, that's a monster, but to survive, protect, or revenge, that's not a monster. I regret it. I'm sorry for pushing you away all those years ago, how I caused you and your friends great pain. I needed you to get stronger through. I now see it. Maybe you could have changed me, Arashi, the ghoul investigators. If I had told you the truth from the very beginning. If I had told you the truth as equals. I failed as a father and I have no right to keep saying sorry and to be forgiven. He killed our mother. What did you think I was supposed to do? UCCG are the cause of all this chaos, you only keep adding to the flames that will burn us all to nothing. It is because of you that Eyepatch suffers so much. Because of you he's in a lot of pain. As well as why I'm in pain. UCCG presume we are the monsters that must die, but in fact you are the ones to blame. I leave my sister in your care, do not let her die. She is one of the ones I care for the most in this accursed world we live in. Naruto just leaves the room not saying a word as Kaneki follows him. Bridge. Naruto is walking across the bridge as Kaneki is walking behind him, confused at what Naruto's thinking until he stops walking. Tuka, it's been a while, was the first thing Naruto said as Kaneki turns seeing Tuka. Why did you leave? How could you just leave? Tuka yelled as she runs past Naruto straight for Naruto as he turns to her just as she punches him in the face, but he withstood the punch, not falling as Tuka continues punching him as he just withstood it while Kaneki just watches with wide eyes. How could you two leave Anteku? Leave Anteku, leave me, Tuka yelled as she grabs Naruto by his shirt as she continues to punch him. Why? As she stops hitting him she just presses her head against his chest. Why didn't you take me with you? Tuka asked as Naruto's eyes widen all the way as she separates from him and begins walking away, passes Kaneki who turns to Naruto who's staring at Tuka who's walking away and he just looks at his hands. Who am I? Who is Naruto? And what is his goal? Naruto asked himself, no longer understanding what he must do. What can I do in order to protect everyone, side with Aogiri and kill the investigators or rejoin Anteku? What am I supposed to do? Naruto thought to himself as he begins walking again while placing his hands in his pockets as he smiles. Who am I indeed? Seems, the real me has always been lost. I've forgotten completely of who I was. Before mom died. Naruto thought to himself as he starts thinking of Tuka, Kaneki, Ito, Akira, Hyde, Ayato, Urata, Yoshimura, Hinami, Yuta, Yomo, Noro, Tatara, Kureo, and Kushina. Next day, Naruto is currently on top of a building watching the sun rise as he heard footsteps just as Ito sat next to him as she's wearing her disguise. What was it you wanted to talk about? Ito asked Naruto who continues to watch the sun rise. Your dad. When he said that, she immediately stops talking as Naruto looks at the sun rise. Ito just stood up not saying a word as Naruto just closed his eyes. He never once stopped thinking about you. You had to leave you in order to protect you and that's why he can never forgive himself. When Naruto said that, Ito stops mid-step. It's none of my business to say anything but. Your mom changed him, he's the man he is now because of her. Ito. As Naruto says that he stood up turning to her. No matter how dirty the world may become, never try to hate the one who always wanted to protect you. He's done everything in order to protect you. As he finished, Ito's hands turn into shaking fists as she starts walking away until Naruto said something that stopped her in her tracks. Are you just gonna abandon him when he needs you? Like he abandoned you when you needed him the most? After saying that, her eyes widen all the way as Naruto throws an envelope at her, which she turns catching it and looks at it confused as Naruto stands up on the edge. Ito, it's all up to you whether you forgive him or not for what he's done. He's suffered for the last 24 years of his life. With those words, his wings appear as he took off at top speed while Ito just opens the envelope and freezes as she immediately rips off the bandages, staring at what he gave her with complete and utter shock, causing her to fall to her knees as tears start hitting the paper, showing a young Yoshimura as well as his wife, both holding a smiling baby Ito. Dad, was all Ito said as she grips the picture. Inside the first ward where Arima, Zane, and Akashi are. So you too? Zane asked as he and Akashi were inside Arima's house, which he just nods. Yeah, I thought yet. I have nothing to say or give. When Arima said that, the two look at each other as they also show theirs are blanks. We began together. We'll die together, Zane said as Akashi gives a laugh. That promise we made each other, huh? Guess I'll just watch your back then. When Akashi said that, Arima shows a smile. Seems that Ghoul knocked some sense into you. When he said that, he just shrugs. Who knows, but I look forward to seeing what will happen. When Akashi said that, the two look at each other and smile as the three walk towards the door. I think this will be our final mission. In order to stop what happened that time. So they're actually using a human as bait for Angel. When Akashi asked that, Zane has a confused look on his face. What bait? Zane asked, unknowing about this as Arima turns to him. A kid that works part-time at the CCG. It was reported he was very close friends with Angel in the past. When Arima said that, Zane's eyes widen all the way hearing that. Few hours later at a cafe. Shinohara was sitting at a table by himself in a cafe as it's noon. Shinohara is staring at the empty seat in front of him with a sundae untouched as he just looks down at a single piece of paper which had 2 juzu. Can we go again, can we? The cafe sells tasty sweets. Shinohara then smiles as he grits his teeth while tears begin falling from his eyes and into the paper. Juzu, was all Shinohara said as he just stares at the paper until his eyes widen as he looks up, seeing a smiling Juzu wearing a hoodie while behind him was Nashiro and Corona also wearing hoods. Hey, I'm sorry but I won't be coming back to the CCG. When he said that, Shinohara's eyes widen even more as Juzu just stands up from his seat as he behind walking towards the door. Wait, when Shinohara yelled, Juzu stops as he gives a laugh, confusing him as Juzu turns to Shinohara smiling while everyone just watches the scene confused. Sorry, but I can't stay. You were always there for me, and I thank you for that. You were like a dad to me and I'll never forget that. When Juzu said that, he begins walking towards the door. Shinohara stops as he looks at the table, seeing a piece of paper as he licks it up and opens it. To Mr. Shinohara, Dad. If I were to die then promise you'll look after Corona and Nashiro for me. After all, I love them, as well as I trust you more than anyone. When Shinohara looks up, they were already gone. Shinohara just smiles as he chuckles. Guess you did have people you considered precious. Juzu, was all Shinohara said as he places money on the table as he leaves. Night time. It's already night, Naruto said as he stops meeting Kaneki, who just standing in the middle of the crowd. Something then catches Naruto's eye as he looks at the big screen and freezes completely as Kaneki stops and follows Naruto's gaze as he too was shocked. Their eyes widen completely at seeing this. The CCG head office is cordoning off the 20th ward as a special. Targeting a certain coffee shop. Moving in today. A large-scale police cordon has been raised over the 20th ward, and movement in or out is currently off limits. CCG has announced that the civilian evacuation is complete, and is considering moving in today, as the tense situation continues. Kaneki, we're leaving. With that, He grabs Kaneki as he wings burst from him, scaring and shocking everyone as he suddenly takes off. Where Ayato and Arata are. The two were looking at the TV with shock as they were inside their old apartment. Dad, Tuka. As Ayato said that, he just sighs. Arata, she's away from the 20th ward. I would ask you to leave but isn't an option. After saying that, Arata puts on a serious expression. We're leaving for the 20th ward now. After Arata said that, Ayato nods and puts on his mask while Arata cracks his neck. Where Ju's OU is. He's currently staring at the TV with shock as it turns serious. Those idiots are attacking the wrong people. If what you two said was true, then this is all a setup just for Naruto. Juzu said that, they nod, causing him to grit his teeth as he puts on his white CCG Black Ops uniform. You two, I'll be back, so stay here. After saying that, the two girls try to say something but were stopped by Juzu looking at them seriously. Okay. Just. Nashiro was cut off as Juzu presses his two fingers against her forehead, stopping her as he smiles calmly. I'll be back in the morning, so don't worry. After saying that, the two nod as Juzu starts walking towards the doorway as Jason starts enveloping his body and his right eye changes into the Kakugan. I have to stop this now, before it's too late. Juzu thought to himself as he runs out the door. Where Tatara is. Tatara is staring at a coffin while behind him was Noro pointing at the TV showing the news. Are you sure that is his wish? Was the first thing Noro said in a deep voice as Tatara nods, which his eyes closed and his right hand makes a fist. The king's final wish. We must allow this to happen in order to fulfill his wish. When Tatara said that, Noro's right hand turns into a fist. I've been acting like a good dog for so long, but I can't accept this even if it was the wish of our old king. Do you realize what will happen to Naruto as the plan takes effect? There's only a select few he cares about, only one of their deaths can summon forth him, so tell me why you would allow your own grandson to experience so much pain. As Noro yelled that, Tatara just places a hand on the coffin. Because, the only way to end this war is for our king's plan to succeed. Naruto must awaken and decide what he must do. Whether it is to kill all ghouls, destroy CCG, or make divine move. After saying that, he turns to Noro with complete faith in Naruto. I do not care. One of the ones he cares about just die in order for the plan to succeed. Either Tuka, Kaneki, Akira, Ito, or Hyde. One of them must die. After saying that, Noro just looks away. Where Yoshitoki is. He's currently standing on a truck-like car that's armored as it's the command center with CCG investigators guarding him like a blockade. 4th Division and above, lock down the other quarters. Don't let a single one of them slip out of our net. After Yoshitoki said that, he received, copy that, from his comm in his ear, which his eyes widen a little, seeing smile ahead of them as a lone figure stood in the middle of the street. And there he is. When Yoshitoki thought that, the figure turned, showing his face to be Yoshimura as his Kagun was activated, startling all of them as they get ready. What you're doing will only cause pain to both sides. More hate will be born because of you people. If it means protecting my daughter, Naruto, and Teiku, and everyone else. As Yoshimura said it, his Kakuja activates, enveloping him from inside the cloak. I'll bloody my hands as much as need be in order to protect the ones I care for. Now, come and kill me. If you can, that is. With those words, Yoshitoki's eyes narrowed. Where Tuka was. She shuts Hinami's door as Age begins walking towards the door, passing the TV that's turned on to the news. When she opened the door, she was met with Yomo staring directly at her. Where are you going? When he asked that, she just looks down, saying, Anteiku, quietly. It's over. When Yomo said those two words, her eyes widened completely. Tokyo Ghoul lost, moving on, guitar only. Over. We're just going to let them die. When Tuka said that, her hands turn into fists with anger. We always said we help each other out at Anteiku. What will become of the manager? What will become of Mr. Koma and Miss Irami? When she said it louder, Yomo just stares at her as they narrowed a little while he's looking down. They were always looking to find common ground somewhere. We've all been trying to find a way to repay Naruto for saving our lives. In order to do that, they will do anything to repent for their sins. By running into Mr. Yoshimura, they came to realize the meaning of all that they had done. Nonetheless, no matter how much of a change of heart they had, their sins remained. And so, they required punishment. After he said that to Tuka, all she said after was, punishment. This fight is also their punishment. Punishment for not only killing innocent lives but also causing Naruto to turn into his Kakuja form in order to protect us. Both of them, and those with them who were there that day. As Yomo finished, Tuka started speaking. Then, what about me? What about me? I've killed, too. I've killed lots of people both because I had to eat, and simply because I was pissed off. After yelling that, she looks down with her eyes closed. I want to be there for him. I love him. I can't bear to see him in pain. Knowing Naruto and Kaneki, they'll rush into battle, along with Ayato and Dad. You expect me to do nothing. When she finished, Yomo just closed his eyes as Tuka passes him. Naruto, I'm sorry but this is her choice and hers alone. I still couldn't pay you back on that day, so there's only one thing I can possibly do to repay you for the lives you've protected. Unknown to you, we've always been there to protect you. We protect Anteku since that is your home. You are both powerful and kind, that is what a true king must be. This will be my final mission. With those thoughts in mind, Yomo only has one more thing he has to do which will repay Naruto back. Where Naruto and Kaneki are. The two were standing on a building as Kaneki grips his mask while Naruto has none since it was broken in their fight with Akashi. Kaneki opens his eyes while Naruto just stares at the flames. This never-ending battle between ghouls and humans has to stop, or else it will just create more hate. Kaneki, wear the mask since they don't know your face. As he said that, Kaneki looks at Naruto. Naruto. Kaneki was cut off by Naruto turning to him with a smile of calm and peaceful. Ya know, Kaneki, after this, let's me and you have a drink. When he said that, Kaneki's eyes widen as a smile appears on his face as the two look at the battlefield. Tuka, please stay away. Naruto thought to himself thinking about her. Where Yoshimura is. Yoshimura is currently walking slowly towards the CCG troops. I will protect my family, no matter what I must do, Yoshimura said to them as he unleashes a barrage of crystals killing them, one after the other as they're all sent flying. My daughter, I entrust her to you Naruto, Yoshimura thought to himself as his right eye glows brightly while a soldier was scared out of his mind. This is what SSS rated means. How are we supposed to? Verger he could finish. 2 slashes appear on his body as that heal quickly which, Shinohara and Iwao were standing in front of him armored with Arata's Kakuju. It's a shame. Iwide you could have served Iwa done of your delicious coffee, too. When Shinohara said those words, Yoshimura just smiles sadly. I would have liked that very much, was all Yoshimura said to them. Where Ito is. Ito is currently sitting on the same building as she's just staring at the picture she closed her eyes. Dad, Ito thought as she opens her eyes staring at the direction of the city while standing up. Koma is currently jumping and attacking Mugen at the same time while the investigator blocks with his higher mind Quink. As the fight continues, Koma charges again as he and Mugen begin close combat until he rips away the briefcase with the line connecting his Quink and the briefcase was cut and sent flying high. Mugen fall to one knee breathing out while Koma does a backflips on the side of a wall. Now die, investigator. With those words, he once again jumps for the man who breathes out from his nose. No, you, as he was talking his Quink changes from which Koma's eyes widen all the way in shock as he was taken aback just as Mugen rams it straight into his stomach drawing blood. Die with a whisper. After Mugen yelled, the weapon unleashes another blue explosion blowing straight through Koma who falls backwards as a lot of blood was coming out from him as his mask flies off and with that he hits the ground no longer moving as his eyes are closed. There is no war that we Homo sapiens can lose to you lowly apes, Mugen said to the defeated Koma. Where Irami is. Ito and Hogi swing feet Quinks at the same exact time just as Irami jumps high dodging their attacks while Chu unleashes another barrage of fire from his Quink. Irami lands on the ground and she swings twice hitting the two but soon backflips away dodging the crystals until she's forced to jump high from dodging a swing from Nagomi 1/3 that was being held by first-class investigator Take Hiroko who just arrived. Irumi was forced to run up the side of a building as she stops now standing on a balcony looking down at them. Another one, huh? And you have a cocky, nasty way with your sword, don't you? When Irumi asked that, Hirako just stares at her until his eyes widen, causing Irumi's as well as behind her the door opens, showing an old woman. What's going on? What's all the racket? When the old lady asked, Irumi turns to her, shocked, which fear appears on her wrinkly old face. Ghoul. When she asked that, Ido could only say, a civilian. As he was surprised seeing not everyone was evacuated. Captain Hirako. Ido yelled, but Chu was beyond caring as he points his quink at them both. Blow her and the old hag away, Chu ordered as Hirako looks at him like he's lost his mind. Mr. Hachikawa. But with those words alone couldn't help but nod as he fired it straight at the two. Damn you, old woman, Irumi yelled as she hugs her while the yellow crystals were impaled into her back, drawing blood as she lets go while falling from the balcony with her mask falling off. I've gone and gotten soft, myself, Irumi thought while closing her eyes. Flashback 5 years ago, a year before the incident. Who the hell are you? Irumi yelled as she and her entire group were standing on a roof looking at the 13-year-old Naruto, who's just staring at all of them as it's raining, which he smiles. Hello, I'm Naruto Mado, it's nice to meet you all. After saying that, they're all wide-eyed at the kid's attitude while they heard more footsteps and. So you even understand who you're talking? She stops as their eyes widen, completely seeing his right Kakugan as he just smiles while giving a wave, and behind him Yoshimura appears from the shadows as he knacks a hand in Naruto's head while smiling. As you can see, you have a lot of questions, Yoshimura said as he gives them a smile, which Naruto as well shows his own smile. Flashback end. Back to Koma. Mugen is walking towards the defeated Koma slowly as he started speaking. Well now, shall we live along to the finale of the first act now? Mugen was stopped as his quink was cut in half. My angel, why you? Mugen was stopped as he coughed out blood as two sides slash across his chest, drawing blood as he falls backwards on his butt as Juzu stands tall towering over Mugen. Who the hell are you? When he yelled that as he was knocked unconscious, he received a punch to the face by Juzu, knocking him out while Koma is wide-eyed as he's staring at Juzu, which his mask recedes showing his left Kakugan, which Juzu smiles giving a small salute, which Koma just smirks at seeing this. Back to Irumi. Don't get distracted. Someone yelled, causing Irumi's eyes to widen as she spins in the air and lands on all fours while the 4 investigators look around at where the yell came from while Irumi's ukaku comes out of her while her nails dig into the ground. Oh, shut it already, Ayato. After saying that, behind the 4 was Ayato, who jumps down from an open window, gaining their attention as the 2 had their Kakugans activated. Whatever you say, Irumi. After that, the 2 unleash a barrage of crystals at the 4 investigators, who are wide-eyed as seeing this and move fast to block almost all of them just as the 2 give a yell and charge. Hirako swings his Nagomi at Ayato, who just jumps to the side as he fires crystals straight at Hirako, who blocks them while Chu points his quink at Irumi, who was busy fighting Hogi, to notice them. Now die. Chu was stopped as his eyes widen to see a armored right arm through his chest as he turns slowly, seeing Arata in his Kakuja form as he has 6 arms and 4 dragon-like wings while steam coming from his mouth with his eyes glowing red. Piece of lousy shit, you're worse than a ghoul. With that, he pulls his arm out just as Chu hits the ground, gaining that attention, which Ido and Hogi's quinks break as Ayato and Irumi slam their right foots into their stomachs, sending them away while Hirako charges, which Arata turns to him and all 4 wings extend straight for him, which he jumps back only to be karate chopped in the back of the neck. Ayato, help Kaneki. Irumi, get out of here now. With that, he takes off towards the sky. 5 minutes inside the underground Route V14. Still the bitch when it comes to fighting, it seems, Ayato said, gaining an annoyed glare from Irumi. Oh, shut it. After saying that, the 2 heard footsteps and turned to see Juzu with Koma's right arm wrapped around their neck, which the 2 look at them surprised. Sup? Juzu said to the 2 ghouls. Where Yoshimura is? Rag hhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhh. Tokyo Ghoul, glassy sky, piano only. Ito. Yoshimura thought as Shinohara and Iwao charged once more as they're fighting on stairs, which the two on behind and in front of Yoshimura as they behind striking. While this was happening, Kori arrives to see what's happening. Incredible, was all Age could say as Kosuke arrives behind Kori with his quink as Yoshimura continues his everlasting fight as he was hit by two explosions from Kosuke causing him to jump into an opening while he's surrounded by the three. Where's Hirako? Shinohara asked Kori. He went after the eye patch's Ghoul. When she said that, Yoshimura's eyes widen a little. Are they all right? When he asked that, she nods. Yes, their quinks were destroyers, is all. When she said that, Yoshimura starts climbing high. Don't let him escape. Shinohara yelled, unable to chase after him as he went up high in a matter of seconds as Yoshimura was now at the roof, now looking at the view as he breathes out. Kaneki. Yoshimura thought. Do you think even I can do it? Naruto. Arg. Yoshimura falls as he lands in the ground and turns quickly to see Akashi smiling at him with his hidden blades extended. Hey, I want a real challenge. When he said that, Yoshimura's eyes narrow. Ost End. Where Yoshitoki is, the 2nd and 3rd Division's main forces have been neutralized. It's the eye patch and Angel. When he said that, Yoshitoki opened his eyes. Send the 4th Division after them, as well as put the plan into motion to stop Angel once and for all. After saying that, he nods. Within a dark alleyway. Hurry, Angel and Eyepatch are breaking through. One officer yelled as the CCG troops are running towards their main location. As this was happening, her eyes widened seeing an unconscious Hyde being carried towards their location, confusing her. Hyde? Tuka said, confused at seeing him. At Aogiri hideout. Tatara is with a chamber standing in front of the coffin while behind him is all the members of Aogiri tree. Our king will soon awaken. So we must wait until that. Tatara was stopped as he heard someone yell, no. Causing him as well as everyone to turn in shock seeing Ito on stage as she puts of breath. Tokyo Ghoul Ost moving on, guitar only. Ito, what is the, Tatara was cut off by Ito. Will you shut up? When she screamed that, Tatara's yes widened shocked at the change of attitude while Noro simply watched. Your own daughter meant everything to you. You tried to warn her about Koreo but she didn't listen. All this happened because you couldn't disobey the one-eyed king even when he's already dead. As she yelled that, they just stare at her. Because of you Naruto suffer so much. The one-eyed king ordered for you to do nothing, which I watched him kill his own father and you just watched as his own mother, your daughter, die. I can't take it anymore. When she yelled that, Tatara's eyes widen. In order for the plan to succeed, you would allow your own grandson to undergo so much pain. It's just too cruel. As Ito yelled that, Tatara doesn't move an inch. My dad, I can't let him fight alone anymore. As she said that, Tatara's eyes narrow at her. I don't understand why you're acting like this, but I don't care. If you leave then you're no longer a part of Aogiri tree. As she said that, she just walks towards the door. I don't care. He's the only one that can stop the fighting. I love him. He's showed me so much. Including love, happiness. Even if our time was short. I watched him closely and began to understand what it means to be human. Even ghouls can act human, so why can't you? When she asked that, Noro just looks at Tatara who has completely wide eyes. Naruto, I won't let him suffer alone. I can't just stand by acting like a child. This picture, his words, he is far better than the One-Eyes King. As she said that, she walks out of the room, which Noro starts walking towards it too. Where are you going? Tatara asked as Noro stopped at the door. I'm not your dog or puppet. I'm going to help Naruto since I too care for him. My sister allowed herself to die for the child, so I shall too be willing to die for him even if it is to go against the king's plan. Who agrees with me. When he yelled that, one by one until all the members follow Noro out to ward towards the 20th ward, leaving a wide-eyed Tatara who is completely shocked at this, which he looks at the coffin and closed his eyes. Opening parenthesis ... Dad, impregnate. You're going to be a granddad. I'm sorry. I too can no longer do this. After saying that, he starts walking towards the door as he closed his eyes, stopping at the door. If there is a God, do what you must in order to stop this fighting. So I can finally kill myself for all the regrets I hold deep within my wicked heart." With those words he runs off, leaving the coffin. Ost end. Back to Yoshimura. "Ah!" Kori yelled as she slashes Yoshimura's chest, drawing more blood as he stumbled back, which Kosuke joins the fight using another quink. As the fight continues, Akashi chops odd Yoshimura's right arm Kagun. "It's because I did all this for our kind. If Naruto can actually do it, then all this fighting can finally end and I can finally die. There hasn't been a single day we even thought about suicide. But before that we must complete the king's final order. Doing that will finally let us die, knowing our entire race has a future in this world and not just to kill or be killed. If we can finally work together, we could find a way for us to eat without eating humans. Our hunger is what started this fire. Humanity is just the oil. Everything I've done was to finally end this war, and the king's plan. All of it rides on the boy's shoulders of what he must do once he awakens." Back to Yoshimura. "Ahahahaha." As Akashi was laughing, he was dodging all his swings as Yoshimura grits his teeth while his blades extend as they turn into whip blades, just as Yoshimura unleashes a barrage of crystals at him, which were blocked while 3 large glowing orange crystals hit Yoshimura and stuck to him, which he goes to remove one, but on his back one of them explode, then the one in front of him, which Shinohara and Iwao arrive as they charge and swing their quinks as they clash with Yoshimura's Kakuja blades just as Kori arrived along with Akashi charging. The 4 begin slashing at Yoshimura over and over again as he's being hurt badly. "How can I protect my friends when the ghouls and humans that hurt each other cause this world to become hell? School. Why would I? Iwao." Shinohara yelled as he nods, which the 2 slash Yoshimura's chest as Yoshimura gives a yell of pain. "I'm not cut out to work in the shop, Kosuke." Shinohara yelled as the investigator charged as he gave a yell, skating his left Kagun arm off. "Are you trying to start something with me, knowing in the devil ape?" Yoshimura stumbled to the side as Akashi smiles while impaling Yoshimura multiple times with his 2 blades, causing Yoshimura to fall on his knees. "Don't talk to me like you know me. I'll kill you. Will you just die already?" Akashi yelled as he extends both blades again as they wrap around Yoshimura and he pulls, causing the blade to rip his armor, drawing lots of blood as an image of everyone in Anteku, as well as an image of his beloved wide Ukina holding their baby Ito. Shinohara yells as he charges at Yoshimura and with one last swing he slashes Yoshimura across the chest, causing the right side of his mask to shatter as he stumbled back and hits the ground as he saw an image of Ukina, which lots of blood was on the food, as they just stare at him, watching Yoshimura starting to stand up slowly as he takes deep breaths. "I'll say this, we ghouls, we survive not just by killing but mostly to protect what is precious to us. I fight to protect the future. Can't you even see it? But I guess only those who can live in both worlds can truly see it. None of you even realize it, but that very child that was born only to be a weapon was in fact the only one who could stop this war. That very child is the true king, the true one-eyed king. Once he awakens he will have power to stop this war." After saying that, his mask recedes just as he gives a weak smile. "I wish I could have served all of you a fresh cup of my coffee." After saying that, he starts limping away, leaving a trail of blood, which Akashi just watches, no longer smiling until his eyes widen along with them. As Yoshimura continues limping away, pieces start breaking off as blood starts receding into his face as he hits the ground. She still crawls until he looks up, seeing a bright yellow light as he saw Ukina standing in front of him smiling. "Ukina," Yoshimura said as he extends his right hand, which wraps around her right hand, which the light fades, showing Ito smiling sadly at Yoshimura while having tears in her eyes, as well as the hood and bandages on her face are gone. "Hi, Dad, I forgive you." When Ito said that, Yoshimura's eyes widen all the way as behind her was Naruto and Arata, who look like they normally do without the Kaguns and Kakugans. "Rest, Dad. Leave the rest up to us. After all, we're family." After saying that with a smile, Yoshimura smiles as tears start flowing down from his eyes. "You look so much like your mother." After saying that, he falls forwards, hitting the ground in front of them, which Ito stands up as Akashi's eyes narrow. "Arima, Zane." When Bai said that, the investigators turn, seeing the 2 walking towards them as they stand side by side with Akashi. He was a man who believed we could all get along. But you, why did you attack Anteku? Naruto asked as he grits his teeth while closing his eyes. It's my fault. When she said that, the two look down at Ito, then they look at each other as Naruto sighs. Once Yoshimura wakes up, tell him everything, after all it's his decision what to do. When Naruto said she only nods while Shinohara is wide-eyed, recognizing Ito as the reporter girl who gave them a lead. What can you three actually do against us? You investigators get the hell out of here, cause right now this is beyond you. As Akashi said that look at each other and start retreating while Ito grits her teeth as her Kakuja appears from her along with Naruto and Arata activating their Kaguns and Kakugan like Ito did. Dad. With those words her Kakuja evolved as well as Naruto turning into his half Kakuja state while Arata turns into his full Kakuja. As this was happening, the three investigators' eyes widen as Ito starts growing far larger than she was, the same size as when Naruto lost control, while Naruto has 9 pair of wings, which Ito roars loudly as a devilish smile appears on Akashi's face. Time to go second state, was all Akashi said as the smile increases. Away from the main fight were Noro and Tatara, who were watching as ghouls were jumping off roofs down towards the ghoul investigators with the intent on killing all of them. Let's go, Noro, Tatara says as the two Juno off while a building sign exploded and fell from a roof, 2 crashing into the ground. Within the second division squad, Itsuki was wide-eyed at what he just heard. There's a second owl, but, wait, what? After saying that, Itsuki takes the comm off his ear as his eyes are completely wide. 3 against 3, not only has 3 Kakujas arrived but Aogiri Tree as well. After saying that, he looks at the screens showing Aogiri Tree members fighting while the video feed of Naruto's fight is off. Back where Naruto is, 5 minutes later. Tokyo Ghoul Ost moving on piano only. Rag HHHHHHHHHHH. Ito roars as she was unleashing a barrage of crystals at Arima, who was dodging them with fast reflexes and speed as he countered using lightning from his quink. As this was happening, Akashi and Arata were battling it out as the two were engaged in a fast close combat fight which blades met multiple fists, the while time Akashi was smiling. The last fight was Naruto and Zane, which the two were fighting from a distance. Interesting, Akashi said with a smile as his blades are against Arata's fists, which they continue to battle as the two jump back, at that time both their teammates' eyes moving to different places to fight freely. I remember you, you're that ghoul I trotted personally. When Akashi said that, Arata's eyes narrowed all the way as he unleashes a barrage of crystals from his wings towards the smile Akashi, who dodges them with speed as he chafes once more with the blades extending and detaching only connected by a wire as he starts swinging both arms towards Arata as the ghoul's eyes narrow and also charges with his wings protecting him, causing Arata to grit his teeth as he jumps high, causing Arata to stop and jump back, dodging him as Arata crashes into the ground hard. Arata soon charges straight for the smiling Akashi, who only laughs as his blades reattach and he only smiles more. While they were fighting, both Ito and Arima were on the ground fighting it out while Naruto was on another roof fighting Zane so they would have more room to fight. You caused my family pain, Arata yelled as his wings outstretched towards Akashi, but before they could hit, from Akashi's back a blood-red Kagun comes out. The Kagun costs Akashi in blood-red armor while a mask forms on his face, causing Arata's eyes to widen, seeing a red version of his full Kakuja. I'm what you call a quinks. Once he said that, his right eye was the Kakugan, and once again he charges straight for Arata, who unleashes crystals at Akashi, but the armor he's wearing in protecting him from the crystals that just bounce off his armor. Arata only grits his teeth as he flies up, but he stops seeing that Akashi was no longer there and he turns immediately, seeing Akashi behind him in the air thanks to 2 wings. I'm not done with you yet. With those words he brings down both blades which slashes Arata's shoulders, drawing blood even through there was armor. Arata only grits his teeth at feeling pain, which he lands on the ground just as Akashi does the same thing, but he instantly disappears and reappears behind Arata in a flash as he swung both blades while Arata swung his fists as the two continued to battle it out. As they continued fighting, Ito was doing all she can in her fight with Arima on the ground. Arima dodges once again from the crystals Ito sent his way while at the same time he aimed his Narukami at Ito and fires lightning straight at her, but she jumps to the left and keeps running then straight for Arima before she stops and crouches. unleashing a barrage of large crystals at Arima, who just charges straight for Ito without nothing to dodge it. As this was going on, Arima was deep in thought. Something isn't right about this owl. It's not that she's young yet, her attitude changes quickly, almost as if she's. Arima stops thinking as his eyes widen, but they immediately narrow while Narukami connects into one blade as he gets close enough to cut off Ito's blades. Then he slashes her chest, gaining a roar as she unleashes another barrage, which Arima jumps back while his blade Narukami starts charging up lightning at its edge and turns fast, unleashing a sudden burst of electricity towards Ito, who jumps away from it, but the lightning only follows her and strikes her, immediately gaining another roar of pain as she was electrocuted. Ito just glares at Arima while her left arm grows back and a fourth blade appears. All Arima does was that he grabs his black and yellow suitcase and immediately started running while the suitcase itself morphs into some kind of black and yellow lance. Ito's eyes one eye widens to see that the lance's edge disappears, signaling her to Juno out of the way, dodging an eruption of several tentacles that recede back into the ground, and it happened a couple more times while this was happening. Arima was pointing Narukami at Ito with its 4 panels opened, and he unleashes a blast of lightning. At the same time the tentacles rose and keeps doping it as Ito just jumps out of the way from all the attacks as the lance's edge reattached from the ground, while Ito fires once again a barrage of crystals at Arima, who just points the lance down as it creates a shield blocking the crystals while others fly past his head, which he's not even reacting to it with that same look on his face. Ito was far from done as she jumps high up in the air. She aims all 4 blades down at Arima's shield, had the 2 clash, causing sparks to fly in the air. Arima just graces at one of the shields, seeing it starting to crack as he lets go of it while and jumps back once, dodging a strike from Ito, who hits the shield, knocking it into the ground. Ito pulls back her left arm and swings straight for Arima, who immediately moves towards the right, dodging it. As he dodged it, he once again in a blink of an eye cuts off Ito's left arm again, causing her eye to move, taking everywhere as she stumbled backwards as her arm wing regenerate. Arima simply jumps back, dodging another barrage. During all of what was happening, Naruto was fighting Zane as his 9 wings unleash over 100 crystals as Zane's eyes barrister as he just starts swinging his Kusarigama in a circle, causing an energy to spree as it creates a black energy-like field blocking the crystals. Naruto just grits his teeth as he charges straight for Zane as his 9 sings transform into fists as he unleashes a barrage of 9 large fists at Zane, who stops and immediately behind, dodging at the speed of Arima. As he was doing so, the 2 were covered in scratches as 4 of his wings turned back into wings while the other 4 were still fists. The eyes on his wings blink as Naruto gives a yell as he charges straight for Zane, which his eyes narrow seeing his wings as he goes for his sheathed blade and grabs it as he pulls it out, immediately showing that the handle was bloody red while the blade was black as midnight. "Burn," was all Zane said as black flames burst from the blade, causing his eyes to widen as Zane grips the blade with his right hand and swings down, creating a wave of black flames to head for a wide-eyed Naruto, who grits his teeth as he takes off high in the sky. But Kusarigama wraps around his right leg, causing his eyes to widen as he's pulled straight down through the roof into the room under the rooftop, causing Naruto to grit his teeth as he immediately got up and runs for the window, jumping out of it as he goes to help Aratas, but above him Kusarigama wraps around his neck as he's pulled backwards straight for the building, as on just one swing the flames hit Naruto's wings, causing his eyes to widen as he yells in pain while his wings were consumed by black flames. The wings slowly being burned away as he starts to hang from Kusarigama, trying to break free. "They will keep hurting until you deactivate your Kagun," was all Zane said until he moves back behind the roof's edge, dodging a few crystals from an injured Ito, which Naruto was able to slip out of it as he was falling, and his wings recede while his Kakuja deactivated. At that fine he was caught by Ito, who holds the injured Naruto with her right arm. She just glares at Arima, who was watching them, and soon joined by Zane, who runs out of the building. At that time, they heard a crash and turn to see a defeated Arata jumping off the building, but as soon as he lands he immediately hits the ground as his body was covered in wounds. From the building rooftop, Akashi comes flying down with his wicked smile as Naruto's eyes widen more seeing Akashi, but grits his teeth seeing that they're too strong. At the same time they heard movement and they looked to see that behind them was the Ghoul investigators, which Kosuke aims at Naruto and Ito. "Not good," was all he could say as Ito holds into Naruto more as she looks around trying to find an opening, but Zane, Arima, and Akashi spread out so they're cornering them into the divisions. "Ito, get out of here now," Naruto ordered her, but all she did was open her mouth, confusing him until she puts Naruto in her mouth, swallowing him, shocking almost all of them, while Ito screeches loudly as her second arm regenerated, while Arata stands up slowly and gives a laugh as his Kakuja reactivated. "Ito, we can't escape so," after Arata said that she could only nod as the two roar, heading for all the investigators behind them as Kosuke starts firing at Ito, causing explosions as her blades start slashing Ayato, the investigators, killing them while not even dodging anymore as her body is getting injured. Inside her body was Ito holding a wide-eyed Naruto closely. Her bandages are all messed up as her Naruto can see her naked body. "Ito, let me out, I can still." He was cut off by Ito, who only hugs him as her body presses against his while his eyes widen, seeing that blades are piercing it as he looks back at Ito, who's smiling sadly at him as she's tired. "Sorry, but it won't work. We're surrounded and this is probably the end, so. I'm pregnant." When she said that, his eyes widen immediately as she leans forwards with her lips meeting Naruto's, and they start beeping while outside Ito's Kakuja is moving all wobbly as it was hit by black flames, causing the entire thing to ignite. As this was happening, the Kakuja starts disappearing as everyone gets ready and their eyes widen, seeing an unconscious Ito who only has a few bandages around her naked body as Naruto just stares down at her while she's exhausted. Naruto only looks up seeing that he's surrounded while he heard footsteps and turns seeing a very injured Arata, which he hands Ito to him. "Get out of here, now," as he yelled it. He nods as his several arms recede and right wings burst from his back as he takes off, immediately followed by Akashi, who tries to stop him, but his legs were grabbed by Naruto, causing his eyes to widen as he looks down, seeing Naruto, who had a chain wrapped around his leg, and both were brought down into the ground, causing an explosion as both Naruto and Akashi stood up slowly. Naruto was taking deep breaths as his 9 wings burst from his back as well as he gets in a fighting stance. "That's enough," someone said, causing Naruto to turn fast as his eyes immediately widen all the way in complete and utter shock, seeing Yoshitoki-san, Matsuri Washu, holding a gun up to Hyde's head, which Hyde was currently tied up with a tape over his mouth as he was struggling, but stops as Matsuri touched Hyde's head with the gun, angering him, while the other investigators were unsure of this, including Zane, Akashi, and Arima, since even if they did know about this, it's unnecessary. "Matsuri, this is unnecessary," was all Arima said, but Matsuri's eyes narrowed. "If you do not surrender now, I'll kill him." When he said that, Naruto only grits his teeth. He's human, he has nothing to do within this, nothing at all. When he yelled that, Matsuri only pushed his glasses up. "He was a part of this when he first met you. Now surrender." When he said that, Hyde shakes his head, but Naruto unleashes sighs as his wings recede back into him. As that happened, several tentacles pierce him from behind as he coughs out blood and turns, seeing Arima using his quink, which he pulls it out of Naruto's body, leaving large gaping holes in his body as he just hits the ground unmoving while his blood starts to cover the ground he's laying on in blood. "MRRRRRPPPHHHHH, Hyde yells as he started struggling but was hit in the back as the neck by Matsuri, causing him to hit the ground. When this happened, they heard someone scream, "Naruto!" The investigators just turned, seeing Tuka, who's out of breath, staring in complete shock at Naruto, who was only laying on the ground unmoving, which she only runs past the investigators, who only watch as she runs to his side, which Matsuri's eyes narrow. Tuka bends down to Naruto's side as she holds him up. He looks at Tuka as he just stares at her eyes. "Hey, Ka," was all he said as Tuka just hugs him very close. "Kill her." When he said that, the investigators just look at him like he's lost his mind. "Are you crazy? She's human." Iwao yelled as Shinohara's eyes narrow at Matsuri. "Matsuri, do you even realize what you..." Shinohara was cut off by Matsuri. "She works at Anteku and is a daughter of the Ghoul Arata. We can't allow her to live or she will be more of a threat in the future." Once he finished, he pulls the quink's trigger as everyone heard a gunshot as blood splatters on Naruto's face, causing his eyes to completely widen all the way, while Tuka was wide-eyed at what happened and looks down, seeing multiple crystals through her. When she saw that, a blade goes through her, which his eyes even more, seeing a smiling Akashi who pulls the blade out. Tuka only falls forwards as Naruto sits up and holds her as she's taking deep breaths while losing a lot of blood. The entire time, The look on Naruto's face showed horror. Tuka. Naruto said it with shock while Hyde looks at Naruto and Tuka with wide eyes as he looks away. Hey, it's been a while, idiot, Tuka said as she coughs up blood which his eyes widen more but manages a smile. Tuka, don't say that. You can still. He was stopped by Tuka only shaking her head as Naruto just looks at her with tears running down his eyes. As they was happening, Ayato arrived on the roof which his eyes widen in complete and utter shock at seeing Toka's condition, but before he could do anything, he was pulled back causing him to turn towards Yoshimura, who shakes his head. Don't, or you will die. After saying that, all Ayato could do was look down. Tuka, don't leave me. After saying that, Age just shakes her head. Naruto, please, devour me. When she said that, all of them get in a defensive stance, but suddenly Tatara and Noro jump as they're protecting Naruto. What are you? After saying that, both her hands touch his cheeks. I want to be with you forever. So please, do it. Once she finished, Tuka's head dropped, no longer moving, which Naruto's eyes widen all the way as images of Tuka appear in his mind. Flashback. Will you shut it? Ayuher, Tuka yelled a year before the events of Tokyo Ghoul. Naruto just sighs. He was currently in her room helping her move around furniture. Tuka, all I'm asking is you might be a lesbian. I've never seen you interested in even one guy before. When he finished, Tuka just drops the boxes and stomps over to Naruto as she stands right in front of white-haired teen. Both wearing casual clothes as Naruto puts down the boxes he had in both hands as he just smirks at Tuka glaring at him. I am not a lesbian for the final time, you idiot. Once she yelled that, Naruto gives a laugh. Then prove it. When he said that, Tuka grits her teeth as she suddenly leans forward with her lips meeting his, causing Naruto's eyes to widen all the way at this before he depends it as he puts his hands on her hips. After a minute they separate, blushing red at what they did. So, wanna go to the movies with me on Saturday? When he asked that, she looks away until she smiles and nods. Flashback end. Pure rage behind belief appears on Naruto's face as this was happening. Noro, Tatara were fighting, and not just then but ghouls as well. Rar. Once he begins screaming enraged of the death of his fist love, suddenly a bloody right hand bursts from his Kagen spot as from it upper half of a body comes out of his back screaming as it turns to Naruto and attaches to him like a second layer of skin. As this was happening, he was screaming enraged as he looks down and begins devour Tuka, which the second layer grows a third eye on his forehead, and as he was devouring her, 10 wings bursts from his back as the eyes on then were the Rinne Sharingan. One wings immediately extends straight Kosuke and it immediately grabs his Kagun, tearing it out of his hands as it was pulled into Naruto, who was still devouring Tuka, as the skin starts turning white while his body begins growing inside the same height as Ito's Kakuja full form. As this was happening, his entire form was changing, looking just like when he first lost control but with 10 wings. Naruto soon stops devouring Tuka as his wings extend as they envelop what's rest of her and absorb her while no one could even make a move. Matsuri was sweating at what he's seeing, unable to speak seeing the wings extend outwardly. After screaming he takes a few deep breaths while all over his body holes appears as small orange balls are created, causing Kosuke's eyes to widen. Everyone down now, he yelled as he ducks along with the others while Naruto looks at his hands then roars like a monster with his body, unleashing all the orbs everywhere as they explode all around them, causing destruction to buildings, vehicles, everything as the buildings all around them collapse while the beast only roars with anger as the investigators stood up completely terrified as all 10 wings extend outward again as he roared looking straight at Matsuri, but before anything else it stopped moving as Naruto's head hands there unmoving. Kill him now. Matsuri ordered before was cut in half, causing everyone's eyes to widen as they see Naruto behind the dead Matsuri as he started laughing hysterically. As this was happening, Tatara kneels to Naruto. It's been a while, my lord. When Tatara said that, Iwao's eyes widened seeing a smile stretch across Naruto's face. It seems after the vessel went insane with rage I was able to take control. It feels so good being able to move again. When he said that, Arima's eyes narrow, which Naruto looks at the 3 investigators who are the strongest, and he proceeded to give a box while this was happening. Black electricity sparks from his right hand's index finger. I'll introduce myself, you see. I needed a new body since mine was too old. In case none of you know this, I am the one-eyed king, and now I'll be taking back all that is mine, starting with you weakling who will be the first to feel my power." When he finished, their eyes widen all the way while Arima starts sweating, not liking this one bit. The one-eyed king starts cracking his neck as the ghouls start backing away as the king's wings extend and bend so that they're no longer sticking out. "It's been so long since I last fought. Hey, this is gonna be fun." As he said that, the holes reseal. King just walks forward while Tatara back away, giving him room while he just allows the investigators to surround him as he just glances on both directions at the same time while the others aim their guns at him. Zane, Akashi, Arima, Shinohara, Iwao, Kosuke, and Kori. King only looks down at Tuka, who was dead as his body was all bloody. "Now, come." Once he said it, the investigators charge as both Shinohara and Iwao were the first to strike as they charge from behind as they both swing their quinks straight at King, which his wings twitch as they extend immediately towards them, with the two wings turning into hands as their eyes widen, and their quinks were immediately grabbed and absorbed instantly, which the two let go as the jump back, watching as the two wings morph into her own quinks. "I said come," King ordered as Zane, Arima, and Akashi move as Zane was the first to swings his chain straight at King, who does nothing as it wraps around him. As this happened, Zane swings his katana, touching the blade as black flames spread straight through across the chain as it reaches King, consuming him in black flames, which he does nothing but look at himself. "The color of death. It reminds me of the only color I saw when my entire family was killed." After saying that, he crouches on both knees. Tokyo Ghoul lost, moving on. "My anger will never cease." Once he said that, he looks up as he roared loudly, as the chain itself shatters to pieces while the flames start to disappear, and at that time his wings extend. As the CCG begin firing at King, who shows W Devil smile as he flaps all 10 wings, immediately disappearing from sight, shocking all of them as Akashi moves quick as he disappears from sight as well, and just like that, they heard an explosion, turning to see Akashi crashing into the building behind the CCG troops, gaining everyone's attention as Akashi starts laughing as he lands on the ground and immediately charges for King as his blades start detaching, still connected by a wire, as he starts spinning like a twister straight for King while his wings turn into hands as they start attacking the officers, who only scream as they're grabbed by the hands and crushed as well as absorbed, which Zane's eyes widen, seeing that their bodies are traveling up the wings towards the main body, and once it reaches it, the size increases a little. Ahahaha. Akashi only laughed as his blades slash across King's chest and starts slashing all over his body, but King just watches as he's not moving his body, but he was suddenly struck by lightning, electrocuting him, causing his eyes to narrow as he turns, seeing Arima charge straight for him as his lance didn't have a sharp end, which from the ground explodes tendrils, but King was already high up while Akashi was above him, smiling as he thrusts both blades down, stabbing through King's back, but immediately the entire body shifted as the head turns straight at Akashi as his arms bend, grabbing his arms as the blade and armor starts getting absorbed, but before anything else happened, they were both hit by lightning as King glances down at Arima as Akashi was able to break free as he flies up high, gaining King's attention as he saw his wings slam down into King, sending him straight down, creating a dust cloud, which Akashi only laughs at this but stops as his eyes widen all the way, seeing the smoke clear to show all of King's wounds healing immediately. "Weak," was all King said as all his wings turn into hands with eyes on the palms. The hands extend outward as they one by one start grabbing more investigators, who scream as they're absorbed, and as they was happening, he was once again blasted by lightning and black flames, but they're not having much affect, gaining a laugh from the King himself, which Arima's eyes narrow as from behind King tendrils immediately erupt from the ground, piercing through King's back, but all he does was look back and give a laugh, seeing this just as it was absorbed into him, making Arima's eyes narrow but widen as 4 tendrils erupt from King's tailbone area. "As I said, in taking back all that's mine." As he said it, the tails twitch and mutate as they open up like mouths, showing sharps, teeth and eyes. "Also, I can see you." King said it without looking back as Kosuke was behind Naruto with his quink an inch away from piercing his back, but that wasn't what caused Kosuke to stop. A tendril was through his stomach as he vomits pit blood while the Kagun's end bends backwards as it is directly above Kosuke's head. The man only closed his eyes as the mouth opens, and before anyone could react, the mouth chomps down on his head, causing blood to splatter everywhere as his body was soon ripped apart and devoured by King. While this was happening, the mouth's eyes move to the outside, since a cannon-like tube comes out of all four of their mouths as the images of the tubes glow orange. "Do you honestly think you can kill me?" As he asked that, his wings extend as four of his wings turns into large hands while the other were wings. "Attack! Attack! Attack!" King roared loudly as his tails begin firing orange crystals, causing multiple explosions as the CCG take cover, while King just laughs as Arima's eyes narrowed as he used his quink, which turns into a shield blocking the crystals but causes explosions while the other get out of there. King merely turns smiling as he looks at Shinohara and Iwao as he disappears and reappears behind the two with his arms extended backwards, which the two turn as King was about to swing when both his arms were sent flying, causing his eyes to narrow as he turns slowly, seeing Juzu in his Kakuja state. Shinohara blinks in surprise while they heard footsteps and some CCG are shocked as Noro was walking towards him, while behind King were more footsteps, which his wings eyes widen as they see Yoshimura in his Kakuja state next to Arata. "What is the meaning of this, turning on your own kind, especially your king?" When he asked that, he only heard more footsteps as he turns quickly to see Tatara, but not only him but also Ayato. More footsteps were heard as he turns, seeing Yoma walking past Shinohara and Iwao. "Leave now. This fight no longer concerns you." After saying that, he glances at Arima, which his eyes turn to anger but quickly disappear as he turns to King, as while Tatara's large and long Kagun comes out of his tailbone area while Ayato's Kagun activates as well. Arata activates his Kakuja state and Yomo's Kagun activates as well. As this was happening, Noro's Kagun also activated, but it wasn't over. Zane, Akashi, and Arima take a step forward as they get ready to engage, which King's eyes are narrowed at being surrounded by his own kind. But as this was happening, Itsuki and Kori also, "Hey, ready. Bring it on, I'll just take all that belongs to." He was cut off as one of his large hands block a scythe from Juzu, which he turns to his bring one of the large fists back, but from Juzu's body many scythe erupt from it, heading straight for King, who only jumps back as Yoshimura and Arata charge from behind as they fists and blades begin fighting his tail that start firing at the two, causing multiple explosions as they're consumed by smoke, but above them was Ayato and Yoma, which the two unleash a barrage of crystals as King, but his wings react by creating a shield blocking it, but because of it, Zane, Arima, and Akashi were already in front of him as the three stabbed through his chest, hurting Naruto inside, gaining a roar from King, which his wings bend forward straight for the three, but because of it he was pierced a couple more times by Kagun, which his eyes blink to see the investigators battling his tail Kagun, which his wings head straight for them as the investigators as well as Yoshimura and Arata, but before it could, Noro's Kagun chomps down on one of the wings, stopping it, but because that the wings morph and turn into claws and quickly slash Noro in half, but he immediately heals. King only grits his teeth, unable to keep track of everyone's movements all at once, which a couple more scythes pierce him, causing King to make a pained sound, but from it his wounds only regenerate immediately. King's eyes immediately widen as he turns right as Tatara's Kagun tail slams into him and sends him straight for the building, causing an explosion while it collapses from the damage right on top of King, causing a large dust cloud blinding them as they're unable to see Naruto. They started hearing sounds from the smoke and dust, then laughter as in more movement. "You die first," was all King said as from the smoke comes a black lightning beam-like spear which pierces Zack through his chest, shocking everywhere, while Zane only looks down slowly at the wounds. "Damn, I lost," was all he said as the blade moves to the side, ripping his organs to nothing as he just hits the ground. "Zane!" Shinohara yelled, but his attention was drawn back to the cloud of smoke as King was standing perfect unharmed, but his wings were no longer on his back as well as his Kagun tails, but now his eyes change position, one large one of his back and two more on his shoulders, one each. What was the most difference was that his body was consumed by black lightning as King only cracks his neck. "It's a good thing I absorbed that quink," was all he said as both his hand have only 3 fingers pointing out while Hyde was dragging Zane away from the battle as the injured man could only vomit out blood. "Damn, who knew I could be caught off guard just like that?" Quote, was all Zane said as Hyde continues pulling him and looks back up at King walking towards the group. Of humans and ghouls in one movement he swings both hand to the side causing a wave of lightning heading for all of them as they're sent flying back as King immediately moves at even greater speed as he appears behind Yoshimura in a white flash as he swings both hand down slashing Yoshimura's back along with cutting his shoulder blade Kaguns off which all he could do was make a sound of pain before falling forward as he hits the ground still weak from the fight. Just as had happened, Arata and Juzu were the next to attack but they were immediately taken down with quick movement. As this was happening, the investigators charge as well for King who was moving at the speed of a flash as he keeps disappearing after delivering a powerful blow to each and every last one until only a few were left standing and that few were Arima, Akashi, Ayato, Noro, Tatara and Yomo which all of them were tired and suffered wounds. Hehehehe, are you dying yet? He immediately stops as his eyes narrowed. So you've arrived, was all he said as he turned slowly to see none other than Tsuneyoshi himself stand directly behind King who turns to the old man see him holding a katana which his eyes narrow dangerously. Ah, the same blade that killed my entire family. I'll be sure to rip it out of your cold dead hands after I kill you and use it to kill you son. As he said that, Tsuneyoshi just grips the blade as he gets in a stance while King just laughs as he walks towards the man while his fingers only hand to now up as he starts walking towards Tsuneyoshi while the others start rubbing for him from behind but before that someone lands between the group and the two main antagonists which King only turns slowly. Tokyo Ghoul Op 1, King's eyes widen slowly at what he's seeing. Naruto, was all he said as the new arrival grips the weapon. Kon. Eki. Was all he said as he heard footsteps and turns seeing Eamon arriving as he's out of breath with Akira tagging along but her eyes widen all the way as she knew who that was. Naruto. When Akira said that, Amon's eyes were already narrowed. Ah, you're this child's sister I presume. He stops as he turns to Kaneki who only throws off the mask Satu surprising most of them at seeing his face but as this was happening, a large fog rolls into the area from the destroyed buildings and weather. You taught me everything I needed to learn. You saved me so now I'll save you. As he said it his Kagun points at King who just watched while Eamon steps in front of Tsuneyoshi surprising the old man. Allow me, was all, he said as he walks forward gaining his attention. You left your sister in my care Naruto. So it's my job to protect her. Quote. As he said it he lifts Dojima one half above his head while in his hefe hand was a black suitcase. Eamon presses it while his quink morphs causing King's eyes to widen as he's now wearing a new version of Arata's Kakuja but what shocked him the most was the new form Dojima one half has taken. Kaneki gets in a fighting stance which King sticks both hands out towards them as he she's a being it in gesture which he disappears in a flash and appears behind Eamon as he thrusts forward but blades wraps around his arm causing him to turn seeing that it was running along the wire connected to Akashi who was out of breath. Raahhhhhhhhhhh. Eamon rusted charging straight for King which swings his left arm as his lightning clashes with Dojima causing sparks while Kaneki changed straight for him as his tendrils are claw-like as they were blocked by his lightning armor. What the hell? King thought as he begins to be pushed back by Eamon while he's attacked from behind by lightning and only ignores him as he roared and started to push back fully as the two roared with a crater forming between them as this was happening. Kaneki charges at him once again and gaining the annoyance of the King who just points his left hand straight at Kaneki whose eyes widen as a black lightning spear heads straight for the ghoul who had no time to dodge but just as it was about to hit him, someone pushed him out of the way which Arima's eyes widened seeing Yomo with a spear through his chest. But from this both Arima and Akashi look at each other and nod as they charge gaining King's attention as he finally pushes Arata back and turns quickly as his right hand pierces Arima's chest causing him to vomit out blood while Akashi runs straight for King as he stabs both blades through his chest but it did nothing as his blades soon started being absorbed then his armor. Now I killed 3 birds with a single stone, perfect, he stopped as he was unable to break free for some odd reason as which his eyes widened seeing Arima breath out smoke. Gas. After saying that his body was completely frozen. No, you breathed in that gas which is entering Throg absorbing you people. As he yelled it, he felt someone pierce though his back as he could only turn slowly seeing its Kaneki with his Kagun deep into his back starting to rip open the Kagun. How? As he said it, he heard a laugh and turns forward seeing Arima, Akashi, and Yomo smiling straight at him. Just wake up already, Naruto, was the last thing Yomo said as he just limps no longer alive. Ost end. King just watches with wide eyes. Mindscape. A kid Naruto is currently sitting by himself in a space of darkness. They killed her. They should all die, someone said as Naruto only looks to see King looking just like him except for black hair. Naruto just looks back down as he closed his eyes. Why is it? I'm so weak. As he thought it, he looks up at the memory of Yomo. Just wake up already, Naruto. Naruto just looks down remembering his words as he closed his eyes. I'm just a monster. As he said it, King turns as his eyes widen all the way seeing someone arrive. He was stopped as someone's hand lands on his head and looks up slowly seeing a smiling and young Kureo who's looking down at Naruto. You're not a monster. As he said that, King's eyes narrow. Leave this place, this is my world. He once again stopped as he turns towards another newcomer which Yomo arrived causing King's eyes widen as the man just walks past him as he walks in front of the kid Naruto and bends down in front of the child as he just smiles. Wasn't your dream to end this war between humans and ghouls but you've forgotten it. As well as you lost yourself. As Yomo said it, the child only looks down as tears form in his eyes as he starts crying. I don't want to watch as everyone I care for dies. Leave me alone. The child yelled causing the two to disappear immediately as the room was once again filled with loneliness. King just smiles at seeing this happening. You see, the path of vengeance and anger is the key. Your friends are just idiots who would try and stop you. Forget about all of them and give me all your power and I'll make all that gives you pain disappear. As King said it, Naruto just looks down and before the child could answer, one more person enters. What is it now? King stops seeing a kid Tuka who simply runs past him as he just turns seeing the girl stop and look down at Naruto. Hi, Tuka said which the kid only looks up and blinks in surprise seeing a kid Tuka. I'm Tuka, the girl said with a smile as Naruto just tilts his head. I'm. The kid stops as the child looks down sadly until the girl puts on a pouty face as she places both hands in her hips. Stop ignoring me, Tuka said gaining Naruto's attention and his eyes widen a little seeing her smile but he just looks away. Leave me alone or else I'll just get you killed too. As he said it, the girl only glares at the kid as the king just watches as Tuka just whacks him upside the head gaining his attention as Tuka just glares at Naruto. If you continue to act like that then you'll just forget, see you forgot your name just cause you're afraid. You forgot who you were just cause you were afraid of being weak. But remember, I'm here. As she said that, the kid's eyes slowly widen. If you're ever afraid, just think about your friends. After all I'm now your friend. As she said it, the child just looks down. Come on, let's talk more in a brighter place. As she said, she grabs Naruto's right hand and starts running which the room starts glowing white causing the child to stop and look around at what's happening. Can you remember yet? Someone asked as he turns back seeing an older Tuka which Naruto just blinks in surprise as he looks to see that he's now back to his regular age but he just looks down sadly. I'm sorry, because if meow, he was stopped as Tuka only whacked him upside the head with her fist. Will you stop doubting yourself already? As she yelled it, he only nods at seeing her glaring at him. But Tuka, I am. He was stopped by her flocking his forehead as he just blinks in surprise as Tuka grabs his right hand and starts pulling him. Enough already, you're Naruto Uzumaki Mato, son of Kureo Mato and Kushina Uzumaki. Don't tell me you've forgotten who you once were. As she said it, Kureo, Yomo, Akashi, and Arima appear. You can end this war but it's your choice. What do you want? As Arima asked that, Akashi nods. It's all up to you kid, what's your decision? As Akashi asked that, Yomo and Kureo smile. Remember, who are you? When Yomo said it, Kureo smiles brightly. Remember, after saying that, a light appears behind them as he was being pulled towards it but he immediately stops and turns seeing half the space darkness with King standing by himself as he just turns away and behind walking deeper into the darkness. Oh, I almost forgot. As he said that he lets go of Toka's hand causing King to turn as Naruto grabs his hand. You've been with me all my life, It's time we become one already. After saying that, his eyes narrowed. I will never join with you, you're only a child. There can never be peace between humans and ghouls, the war will continue until one side is eradicated. After saying that, Naruto looks down as book appears in his hands. This war can end, not by anger but by love and gentleness. Anger and hatred will only cause pain. War only creates more war, meaning the cycle will continue until both sides end this war. I'm gonna break the chain of hatred. If there's truly such a thing as peace in this world, I'll find it no matter how much death I must move past. I will no longer kill. After saying that, King's eyes widen at him from hearing him say he will no longer kill. But, how can you say that after all you've suffered, the people you killed? After saying that, Naruto puts on a sad smile. I know what you mean, but if I stop believing in a better future just because I lose my friends. If the hero in my dad's book were to change who he is, then it would become a very different story. I think I remember what I believe in. I think I finally know what I can do in this world. By ending this war immediately without killing. As he yelled that, King was completely shocked but sighs as he closed his eyes. I guess it's time that the king awakens. After saying that, he extends his hand as both shake hands. Thank you, Naruto. As King said it, both the darkness and light converge in one point, causing a bright light. Mindscape end and Ost end. As Kaneki was going deeper, his eyes widen all the way as King starts receding back into Naruto as he starts returning to normal. The more precious someone is to us, the harder it is for us to accept that they might die. I now understand what I can do. After saying that, he looks down at the dead Arima, Akashi, and Yomo. All this senseless death creates so much unbearable pain. All this death unleashes a monster in all of us that creates war which will never end. All we do is create war, so I'm now ending this. After saying that, he turns to Tsuneyoshi as he then bows. I am ending this war immediately. I no longer wish for my and your people to fight. As he said that, Tsuneyoshi immediately charges for him as he swings his blade straight for his head, but in a blink of an eye the sword breaks as Tsuneyoshi falls on his butt as his eyes widen, seeing Naruto smiling brightly. Tokyo Ghoul Ost Op 1, slow version from Season 2 Episode 12. I am sorry, but I'm ending this war. I know what it means to hate, just let go. Quote. After saying that, he turns back to the dead bodies and walks towards Toka's as he links her bloody body up and turns, seeing the others getting up slowly while he takes off his cloak, placing it over Toka's body, and he starts walking towards the main division. But as he start walking, he passed both Iwao and Shinohara, but as he did, their quinks were immediately absorbed into Naruto's back, which one by one quinks begin entering Naruto as he continues walking. The ability of the One-Eyes King, to take everything and takes everything. Strength, weakness, everything is absorbed into him in order for him to become unstoppable. He's surpassed the late king completely. As Tatara said that he was standing next to Tsuneyoshi, who only looks at him as he turns to the old man, extending his hand. It's time. We end this once and for all. After saying it, Tsuneyoshi just looks after Naruto, seeing that Juzu, Kaneki, Amon, and Akira are following after Naruto, but soon one by one the Aogiri tree ghouls follow Naruto along with the surging members of Anteku, Devil Apes, and Black Dogs. Even some of the investigators follow as well as they carry the fallen, including Yomo, Arima, and Akashi, which Zane was being worked on immediately to save his life with Hyde by his side, as they just watch seeing Naruto pass them with an army which Yoshitoki and Itsuki were standing in front of their army as they point their guns at the ghouls, but slowly their eyes widen seeing ghoul investigators with them, which take looks away with his eyes closed seeing the dead Arima. As he continues walking, with a word the men lower their guns, which Kosuke's eyes widen seeing an injured but still alive Sito smiling as he waves at Kosuke, who just smiles. Shinohara places a hand on Juzu's shoulder as his hands were behind his head, and Makoto giving him annoyed look, mouthing, "Rematch," only making Juzu smile as he gives a quick nod. Akira is walking next to Amon as she's holding onto his right arm tightly as his armor is gone along with his quink. While this was happening, both Arata and Ayato were looking down sadly at losing a family member. Hyde smiles as Kaneki sees him and gives his own smile as well. Naruto soon stops in front of Yoshitoki and Itsuki with a peaceful smile on his face as he just looks down at the dead Tuka and up at them. This fighting must end or else more and more will die. I don't want this to continue, so please, I beg you, end this fighting once and for all. As he asked that, Yoshitoki looks to see Tatara helping his father towards them. Tsuneyoshi only gives a nod signaling Yoshitoki, who only sighs and give his own smile. Yes, let's finally end this. As he said that, Naruto just smiles as he looks seeing Ito on top of the roof wearing a cloak as she just watches with a smile on her face. Ost end. Epilogue. 17 years later. Crap, 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 crap. We're the words of Naruto's eldest son Yomo, who has dark green spikes hair and rubbing straight for the Anteku as he was. He immediately trips at the entrance of the cafe, and when he looks up, he's met with his younger sister Tuka, who looks like Ito but her hair was long blonde with green highlights. Late again. Yomo. As she said it, he only sighs as he walks up the steps to meet his mom Ito, who was serving coffee, and she looks seeing the two while Koreo, Tuka and Yomo's oldest brother, only sighs as he was next to Kaneki cleaning a glass. Yomo, you're late. When she said that, Yomo only looks down sadly as he looks up at the trophy case showing a picture of both Naruto and Tsuneyoshi shaking hands. It's been 17 years since the war ended, which affected the world greatly at what happened, as well as a year later CCG was officially disbanded. Not only that, it took 2 years to find out why the ghouls could only eat humans, which they used the data on Quinks to help ghouls only eat human food through they can still use their Kaguns, but now there's a law that has been passed about having a license to use it. Naruto himself has married Ito, having 3 kids named after the people that helped him when he was younger. Now Naruto became the founder of Aogiri Tree Incorporated, which revolves around belong ghouls as well as home to ghoul officers in charge of keeping the peace between ghouls and humans, which humans and ghouls work in it. Juzu and Makoto are the now high-class officers and partners in charge of many ghouls and humans. Why were once part of Aogiri Tree and CCG. Amon married Akira and had 2 kids, while Juzu had 1 with Nashiro and Corona. Sito is now in charge of the ghoul detention cell, which became a prison to help a ghoul try and not kill and eat humans. Hyde is now a novelist who has written about what happened, which had become a major hit, as well as someone. Adult rates books. Kaneki now works as the manager of Anteku with Ito as a waitress. Not only then but also Yoshimura is now returned, which Ayato works there along with Hinami as well, which the two are now husband and wife. Irumi and Enji have finally gotten married after so long. Yomo smiles remembering that tomorrow marks the holiday when the war finally ended. Yomo looks at Kaneki, who was pouring a glass of coffee, which he noticed Yomo, and smiles. At Aogiri Tree Incorporated, Naruto was sitting at his desk as it was turned towards the window showing the sundown, while on his desk was pictures of his family, including pictures of him at a kid Tuka playing on the swings and one of him and her on their first date on top of a Ferris wheel they went to after the movies. Naruto just closed his eyes as tears came down his cheeks coming from his closed eyes. Mindscape. Naruto was holding Tuka close to him as she just smiles at this. Welcome back, Tuka said as Naruto gives a laugh. It's good to be back, Tuka, was all he said as they beep. To be continue. I hope you enjoyed this story. Also remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.